We are live. Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News. Happy to have the chance to speak directly to so many folks who are interested in Haiti and what's going on, and ultimately how to impact, how to move forward. As you know, this is the show. This is the show where we talk, where we chat, where we go over the weekly happenings, and depending on what else may be happening in the real life of Seejeanty. We have a conversation. And actually, today is going to be, we're back to normal, we're back to business. We will have our usual conversation per usual. So don't you fret for those who didn't have a chance last week, unfortunately, given the very hectic schedule. Per usual, we're going to go into a quick intermission per the beginning of how we usually do things. A little intro is going to play. I got some things I got to do in the background because, it's a one-man show on Sundays. And then we'll be back for our usual deep dive analysis and conversation. All right? All right, guys, we'll be right back.
We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Maybe it's a new show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened, and then dissected in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Haiti Biz News show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Maybe it's a new show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened, and then dissected in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Haiti Biz News show Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, focused economically, focused on what has happened, and then dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Business Show. I did not see it.
And we are back. We're back. We're on Instagram. What is up, IG? We are on YouTube. What is up, YouTube? We are on Facebook. What is up, Facebook? We're even on Periscope. Twitter. What's up, Twitter world? We're streaming on 4 different platforms. If I can get another cell phone, I'll probably be on TikTok as well. Snapchat. Who's doing Snapchat? Who's still using Snapchat? I'd be on Snapchat too. Right? We're doing all of them because it's really important to get in front of the Haiti story and us controlling the narrative. More importantly, doing a fair and balanced presentation of our country and ourselves. It's I'm not saying it's absolutely perfect in Haiti, and we'll talk about that. But certainly, it's not as dog eat dog, sham as sham, as they say, right? So I want to say hello, folks who are calling in. We got a thick room. My usuals. Please take your seat. Your seat's reserved. Y'all have a seat. New folks, welcome to what this is. I'm sure if you came in through Facebook and YouTube, you saw the intro, so I won't have to repeat it. But those in IG, by the way, on IG, if you're watching this is going to be a long show. IG only allows 1 hour, and so if you're still around at the tail end of that hour, the stream is going to end. I'm not going to renew it. You're going to have to go on YouTube, on Facebook, real platforms that understand who does a live in less than an hour. Who does that? Nobody does that. But welcome nonetheless, right? I want to say what's up to a few folks in the chat. I'm seeing what's up to Marjorie. What's up to G Dorius 10. What is up? B's Family Vlogs. Always a pleasure to see you guys in here. We got Marie Lambert in the house. What's up? Good morning. Sandra Noel with that Black Power symbol. What's up? Always happy to see that in there. Music Lover Deuce. What is up? Brother LF. LM. What does that mean? You 2-letter guys. Yeah, I can break those 2 letters down for me. I'm always seeing it. It's good to know what that means. Bounce Bougie 11. What's up? We got Lovely King Magni. What's up? We got Cassandra. I'm not sure I can say that word and not be demonetized. So I'm going to just say Cassandra. Good morning. Okay, good. First time I'm seeing that name in the chat. Certainly I will remember it if I saw it before. Do make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't be a stranger, even if I can't say that second name. Jocelyn Jean. What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Good to have you. Right. Claude 410 in the house. I do recommend you guys to check out Cloud 14's channel, Cloud 14, CLOUDFORTIN. He's doing some really interesting stuff in Haiti. He's really blazing the path, just like your boy is, and anyone who's doing important work, such as showing Haiti is much more complex than the media, and then CNN, and Fox News, and Miami Herald likes to paint. Then certainly that's a friend of mine. So Cloud 14, welcome, and I do recommend you guys go check out his channel ASAP. All right, hit that subscribe button. We got Regine John Bart in the house. Merci. We got JJ in the house. What's up? We got Sony St. Clair in the house. Time seeing Sony St. Clair, but say, what is up, Sony? Hope to see you again. Hit that red button. Stay informed. Stay into the know. We got D1 in the house. Peace and blessings right back at you. We got RL48. Bonjour. We got Marie Charles Haywood. What's up? Bonjour. Good to have you. We got Savio Charles. I think that's the first time I've seen Savio Charles in the house. Do hit that red button. Hope to see you again in the chat. We're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Loving Life's in the house. We got Jamsey Dacingo in the house. We got France Camille. France Camille always the usual regular. I always have to see you in the chat fronts. We got Mega. What is up? Let's go and jump into the IG. Let's see who do we have this morning, right? We got Mino 315 in the house. What is up? Happy to have you in here. We got Faye Abiu. Give me that wave. I'll wave right back at you. We got Haitian Foot. waving right back at you. We got I Hands Bizel waving right back at you. And who else do we got? And we got Old Money Wealth in the house waving right back at you. Again, so happy to have the usual folks in the house, and also a very good sprinkling of some new faces in here. Very happy to have everyone here this morning. I know Sundays are days of relaxation, and it's always good to have you guys come in, take a piece of that chunk of that day, and join me, and particularly join me because I'm not necessarily a prettiest face. I'm not bad looking either. You know what I mean? Like, confidence, right? You know, but usually on lives, you see these numbers I put up on my lives usually are reserved for pretty women just talking and looking into the camera. And the fact that you got folks in here not looking just to look, but looking to learn, looking to engage, looking to talk, looking to chat, looking to be informed, looking to provide their perspective. That gives me hope for what this whole social media thing is all about. And actually, it can be used potentially for a force of good. What? That we got to take a second to applaud for that. Comme toujours, j'aime toujours un petit segment créole parce que je voulais qu'on comprenne bien qu'il y a pile respect pour langue nous. C'est langue nous lié. Et même les déplacés nous, même les forces économiques et demander que nous quitter pays nous, même les c'est pas que nous t'a préféré quitter parce que un pays douce comme ça, soleil parce que 300 jours par année, on fait longer mettre mais à gauche, à droite, ou un mango, ou joindre sur l'autre bord, ou joindre on banane, ok? M'gadjou, c'est un pays qui très, mais même là, il pas aussi facile, mais aussi à l'aise pour gagner, à finir par rapport aux police qui a pression, police blanc, racistes blancs qui a problème, même là, en difficulté, ou jouer avec un autre monde, mais là, vous pas danger dans ce sens qui vous pouvez prendre n'importe moment par rapport au coulet. Est-ce que vous comprenez? Les gens qui sont aux États-Unis comprennent bien comme Abdou. Et dans tout ça, je pris le respect pour le là parce qu'il est connecté nous par rapport au côté de nos carrières. Ce n'est pas qu'il ne pas parler, même si j'ai un accent, c'est ça, je dis là-bas, l'accent ne va pas jamais quitter moi, mais ce n'est pas qu'il ne pas parler, ce n'est pas qu'il ne pas respect pour lui, il a fait émission. Il a fait émission dans le créole. On comprend ça bien. Mais parce que nous avons un côté, parce que nous avons recevoir des informations sur Haïti en anglais, parce que vous comprenez bien, nouvelle a fait par rapport à nous, tout côté nous passer, de nous. Est-ce que vous comprenez? Comme on a entendu qui va qu'on Haïti, on dit ici, qui j'en baille, qui j'en cyclone frappé, et bah mon en misère, et bah qu'on a rien sous pays. Vous comprenez? C'est ça la raison que je une mission pour tout le monde, parce qu'il faut comprendre tout, même là, nous avons le respect pour là, mais qui langage qui est vraiment langue internationale du monde. On sait langue, c'est anglais. Vous comprenez? À finir, comprendre tout, et comment on a un avion, c'est, moi, plus blanc dans l'avion, comme à rentrer, qui est haïtien, en plus. C'est la raison qu'il est important que je d'ailleurs, premier barrière là, il faut nous comprendre. C'est que les gars haïtiens qui d'ailleurs qui préfèrent l'anglais, ok. Mais moi-même, avant de rentrer à Haïti, j'ai une préférence pour l'anglais, ok, parce que vous comprenez bien, c'est langue à l'école, ça me fait business moi tout ça, ok. Et c'est pas tout, ok. Nous en guerre et pas pour perspective nous du monde. Il est important que c'est nous-mêmes nous partager des informations, des perspectives à la monde de qui est nous et qui ça Haïti gagne pour nous. Et c'est la raison que je fais mission ça en anglais. Finalement, comme toujours dit, c'est quand l'autre côté qui a fait l'anglais, qui a un fair and balanced perspective des pays avec toute analyse tête frette sans politique dans l'anglais. Si on a voyé ligne pour moi, je suis bien content. D'ailleurs, et même les Haïti, je faire aussi pratique dans la langue, tellement ma boule avec, je me dis là, même Haïti, langue des affaires, c'est qui langue? C'est anglais. Ok, so même les Haïti là, j'ai assez de temps pour me pratiquer. Je suis bien content de faire des étapes, pas blaguer et langue créole là avec nous toutes. Mais par rapport à une responsabilité qui est plus haut que le langage natif là, que nous aimons parler. OK. OK, so that's it. I'm just by by ça, but OK, m'a toujours done. Là, on l'autre monde a blagué en anglais. M'a done, mais pour qu'on y a, si nous vraiment préférons en créole, là, il y a plus d'autres monde qui a fait, il y a Guy Wewe, il y a Johnson Napoléon, il y a Maître Roger Matchopol, il y a tout le monde ça yo. Chacun là, tout le monde ça yo a fait la blague. Fait à là, qui était petit espace ça, on seul petit espace dans tout online media, que monde qui recevoir les nouvelles sur Haïti tête fouette en anglais. OK? Merci. Got to do the usual disclaimer in Creole. Just let folks know nothing but love and appreciation for our language. But we just I think you got to have at least one space on the interwebs where where Haiti can be discussed and everyone can understand. Right. So that's what this is. Just a quick FYI. We're not going to be here next week. Okay. We're not going to be here next week. We're going to be shooting. I'm going to be with the team out in Jacmel. That's right, out in Jacmel. If y'all boys see any Jacmelians in the house, see Seejeanty shooting out in y'all streets, y'all don't be a stranger. Y'all say what's up to me. I'll be in the great city of Jacmel shooting some incredible content. I'm probably gonna get 3-4 episodes out of Jacmel. It's gonna be. I'm so looking forward to it. A lot of folks have been demanding for quite some time, for me to leave Port-au-Prince, which I've done a lot of out of Port-au-Prince content, number one, but nonetheless leave Port-au-Prince, do some more in other city stuff, and really the reason why I'm able to do it is because of you guys. A lot of the the few folks who have on YouTube used the donation button, and a few folks who have gone ahead and used the ticker tape that's going to be on. Boom, there's a ticker tape right there. A few folks who have $10, $20, whatever, who have gone ahead and shown support for what we're doing here on Seejeanty. It's really me putting it into that war chest and allowing a full week of what's going to happen, right? And again, I really look forward to Jacmel. Jacmel is just an incredible city, very historic, and I very look forward to putting that package together and dropping it over the coming weeks after we record it. But nonetheless, what that means is there will not be a Haiti Biz News episode next week. It's going to be just too busy and too tired, to be quite honest, to put the show together. But we'll be back the following week, and we'll make up for 2 weeks. We'll provide 2 weeks worth of news. Okay, so we'll be back in 2 weeks. Okay, don't you worry. Don't you worry, right? I have recently started something a little different, and I'm gonna drop that within the chat here. And those who are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter are going to be able to see it and click on it. And you guys can just hear on Instagram what it is. It's a community action group. A community action group called the Seejeanty Community Action Group. And what is that? Here's the thing. A lot of folks reach out to me and really want my attention. They're doing some great work in the country, and they want to chat with another person who's doing great work in the country, right? Here's the thing. I run 3 businesses. I work full-time as a consultant for a company in the U.S. doing some really great stuff in the IT data analytics space, okay? And I run this media company, right, where we're going all across Haiti shooting content. On top of that, your boy's married, right? So got to give the wife some attention too, right? And so I'll put all that together. It means I don't have time. When somebody DMs me and says, "Hey, I'd love to chat with you. Hey, I'd love to do some coffee with you." I'm sorry, man. I can't do it. I'm just doing too much. But it is very critical that there is a space for folks who are doing great stuff. Because I'm not the only one person doing great stuff. I think by now, those who watch the channel long enough realize that there is an army of people doing great stuff in the country. And I really want to provide a space that allows folks to connect, allow folks to chat amongst each other, network with each other, leverage each other's talents for Haiti's benefit, right? Let folks know what they're doing. Let folks know about their products to purchase, right? Whatever it has to do with, particularly when it's made in Haiti. And that's really the big thing, made in Haiti or being done in Haiti. I want a space for that to happen. And I pop in there. I don't really engage per se in that group. It's really your space. It's your space in between videos, in between Sunday live chats, right? to have a space where the conversation can continue, right? The community can continue to engage amongst each other and engage for the betterment of Haiti. And that's what the Seejeanty Community Action Group is, right? Now, despite that, there is something that's going to be coming very soon. And I think I mentioned it before, but the next iteration that's coming, maybe probably another 2 weeks or so, actually, is going to be a private WhatsApp group. A private WhatsApp group that folks are going to be able to provide a monthly subscription to support the channel. How much? $10 a month. Okay. Right. And within that channel, that conversation is going to continue. The same conversation that's going on in the community action group is going to continue in this private WhatsApp group. Right. But the difference is per day, your boy is going to engage. Right. I will carve out some time out of the time I really don't have, and I will engage within that private WhatsApp group as conversations are going on, as questions are being asked, right? Because a lot of folks reach out to me and they say, hey, Seejeanty, how do you do this? How do you do that? How are things looking like, right? And unfortunately, given my time restrictions, right, I ignore a good amount of them. Don't like it. I don't like the fact that I'm ignoring it, just be clear, right? And so this is a good compromise for me, where folks who feel they appreciate what we have going on here enough to provide a small monthly stipend to support what we have going on here, right? I mean, for example, I've shot so much content. Literally, I have 4 episodes sitting on our hard drive right now, guys. I can't produce, I can't drop because I only have a single videographer who also functions as my cameraman. And so when we're out, we're shooting, and I don't like backing my videographer back to back like that. So if we shoot one day, particularly if we shoot 2 days back to back in particular, like we have been, I like giving my guy a day off, right? So we're at a point now where we're filming so much content, my guys, that we'd love to have a second videographer, right? How do you do it? How do I do it? Simple. A WhatsApp group, folks who love what we got going on here, $10 a month, and it goes directly to employing a new videographer, right? To our camera guy, so that my current videographer can focus on churning out with my direction the great content that we have been going on, right? And of course, again, I will carve out time to speak with you guys. So that's not out yet. It's not out yet, but it's coming soon. And in fact, it's coming soon along with the whole website and the whole thing, right? So what we're really trying to do is we're really trying to build an infrastructure here, guys, right? We're trying to build an infrastructure here at Seejeanty that's what 2021 is about, right? We're in November, it's about to be December. 2021 is about building an infrastructure here at Seejeanty that can outlast Seejeanty, right? Because at the end of the day, it's always been what I say it is, which is it's about the country. It's about how can we here impact and move the country forward, right? And so 2021 is a year of infrastructure, making sure we have something here that's going to work, it's going to impact, and going to keep pushing forward. And you guys are a part of it, right? And I want to do it in a way that doesn't break the bank. It's 10 USD. That's right. 10 USD a month. I got somebody in IG saying 10 USD, 10 USD a month, right? So it's coming. Look out for it. Probably in 2 weeks. Probably when I get back from Jockman, I'll make the formal announcement here on Haiti Biz News, or its own private video probably for folks to come on board. And don't forget, the book's right around the corner. The book is with the editor right now. I was hoping to get it back a week or 2 weeks ago, but the editor is really wanting to add value, given what she sees what it is, and really wants to add value and make sure every syllable is in tune with what the whole big picture is about. And so certainly, as I've said for a while, we have a deadline of 2021 to get the book out. So again, as you can hear with all these announcements, we have a lot of stuff really for the benefit of the audience, of you guys coming, right? So I got you guys, all of those folks who reach out to me in my email, in my DMs, and a lot of them I can't respond to. Just sit tight. A lot of what you're asking is coming to be responded to directly. So don't worry, I got you. All right, cool. All right. The most recent video we dropped on YouTube, Seejeanty, was a exploration on a multi-million-dollar property, right? A multi-million-dollar property being built on in Vivian Michel, Haiti. I'm gonna say it again: a multi-million-dollar residential property, right? Being built right now, and the thing is, the reality is actually these things happen a lot. They happen very often, but the problem is is that for different reasons, it's hard to get an owner to say yes to allowing folks to highlight it. First off, they usually don't know who I am, right? Fortunately, we've been around and been so consistent. I think folks have really, starting to figure out, okay, well, he's not a fly by night sort of guy. This guy's about that business, right? And so maybe, we can give him a shot at whatever the heck this crazy guy is trying to do, right? And I think that's a credence to you guys for sticking with me for as long as we have been. And I want to go just drop it. I'm gonna drop it in the link right now in the chat. And it's gonna be in the description after the video as well for you guys to go check it out. And it's a Haitian Dominican company run by Ana Contreras. And if that name sounds familiar, I respect and salute to you as a true Seejeanty fan, because she's actually someone who's been on the channel before. She was interviewed for our podcast. That's right, we had a podcast, season 1. Hopefully, we'll be season 2 at some point. And she's a Dominican who moved back 10 years ago. In fact, she was not just a Dominican; she was like the Dominican. I mean, she was Miss Dominican. I don't know, I forget what year, unfortunately, but she was Miss Dominican. Okay, so she's like, when I say she was Dominican, she is like the Dominican, and she moved back to Haiti and has been doing some really interesting stuff in the construction space with her husband, Ricardo Caro, and they've been a few different places that you may have seen, like for example Epidor and Delma. Those who know Haiti know what I'm talking about. They redesigned that bad boy. But in any case, she was working on that construction, and because I have a good relationship with her, because she did the podcast, she worked her strings, darn near begged the owner to allow me to come in there, and we're able to show you that real estate project. Now, I certainly hope, if anyone's hearing me out here, and if you're working on any construction project, any development in Haiti, holler at your boy, right? Let your boy in, right? And I don't want to speak to why, so many big investment projects are done under the veil of secrecy in Haiti, right? Part of it's because of this perception, right? This perception of, we gotta protect, what's going on here, right? The second is this overall hostility, so many Haitians have against those making moves economically, and it's insane to me, right? It's insane where, you have countries like Ghana, a guy like Wodamaya, right, who's doing some great things in Africa, and a guy I respect tremendously, right? He is showing, clinics being built by, African Americans and Ghanaians and other Africans all over the planet. Well, all over the African planet, African continent, right? But we have honestly a lot of the same things happening here in Haiti, but it's being done under the covers because we have a culture of cacher and pour avancer, right? And we can't cacher pour avancer parce que if you hide to advance, you give territory to the perception makers that are telling you Haiti's unsafe. That is telling you you can't make money in Haiti. That's telling you, you're going to be robbed blind by X, Y, and Z, when they're doing well, when I've been doing well, right? And that's one reason why the book's coming out, to help guide and drive that conversation in a more productive direction. But in any case, we have some great, that said, we have some great real estate projects already coming out. I hope about 2 weeks we have an incredible property that's recently been built in the hills of Henskoff that hopefully we'll make some time and to film. And there's some other really interesting, folks we're connecting with because of that recent video that I dropped who really liked what we put together and want something similar, right? And I'm more than happy to do it because, again, it's showing that there's things happening in Haiti at an international standard, right? And that is more than hospitable for anyone looking to come in. It's not, believe it or not, I can't believe it. It's not just stone shacks, metal aluminum shacks that exist in the country. There's a lot of other stuff here, right? As always, you guys are my co-host. I want to say that you guys are my co-host. So I want every single person who's watching right now, leave a comment, drop a comment wherever you're watching this from. If you're on Instagram, drop a comment. If you're on IG, Facebook, I'm sorry, I said IG already. Facebook, YouTube, drop a comment. We're gonna try to read everything that comes through today, right? Right. We got time today, so we're gonna read. Try to read as much as we can today. So go ahead and drop that comment. I want to let's go through the chat real quick again and just say what's up to a few different folks here, right? We got Mega, what's up? We got, let's see, I got 11 live already. Kendi, Joe, what's up, man? Happy to have you. We got Jane Fritz, Alexis, what's up, right? We have Wesley Campre, Wesley, always a pleasure to have you in the chat, man. Always a pleasure. We got Avizazio. I think I said it with a little accented A there. Happy to have you. First time I'm seeing you in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button and big red button to subscribe. Hope to see you next week, right? We got Ronald Haitian in the house. What's up, Ronald? Happy to have you. We got Mackinson, Casimir. Merci en pile, man. Merci en pile pour mot d'encouragement, yo. Merci en pile, man. We got Tasha, Cap, Goddess, Melanin in the house. That's a mouthful. Happy to have you in the chat. We got 315 Tech in the house. What's up, man? We got Nico Prestige. Lots of respect for Nico. Happy to have you in the chat, per usual, Nico. We got Lovely King Magni. What's up, love? Oh, I think I said what's up to you already, man. Lovely, but what's up again? Whitney's in the house. What's up, Whitney? Happy to have you today. We got Lens Monastin. You got to continuer en créole, s'il vous plaît, mon frère. Non. M'dou pour que ça m'a continuer en créole. Faut nous gagner un espace pour nous connaître ba en anglais, Lens. Faut nous connaître que langue là c'est pas seul. Du monde c'est pas seul nous-mêmes. Après nous gagner peu l'espace pour créole là suivre créole là, ouais ba OK, je ba sur dans pays à pile côté. So, nous avons côté faut nous contrôler qui ça dit de nous dans langue qui est important du monde dans l'anglais. So, tant pis, bonne chance là. Bon qui continue dans créole là, dans l'anglais, excusez-moi, dans créole anglais. On va aller de l'autre côté. Finalement, si anglais est trop lourd, on va aller de l'autre côté. Excusez-moi, pas de aller de l'autre côté non, mais simplement c'est ça lié. C'est anglais d'en parler là, okay? But thanks, Lens. Nonetheless, I appreciate you, right? Tascan says, you changed my whole outlook on Haiti. Keep up the work. Thank you. Appreciate that. We got Marie saying she's from Jacmel and excited to see it. Trust me, we got some really, really cool stuff about Jacmel. I cannot wait. We got Esther Akanjansi in the house. What's up, sweetheart? We got Jamzi Daz Desino in there responding. We got Beyond Fly. in the house. What's up? Happy to have you. We have Melanie D. What's up? We got Clayton Tassier from France. What's up? We got Teddy Clermont in the house. Always happy to have you. We got Jafet Severe in the house. We got Duquesne's Fernard. I got to take a pause. I got to salute Duquesne. Duquesne is a true soldier, fighting the economic fight to employ many Haitians and advance the country. The only way the country can advance by self-sustaining entrepreneurship. And if you haven't seen some of the content we've done with Duquesne's, do check out the BPO episode where we get a chance to explore his BPO and explore the self-sustained ecosystem he's built around his BPO. And in fact, we even have a commercial of one of his products, right? I'm saying this man's an entrepreneur. He is truly an entrepreneur, where he's selling super efficient eco stovetops, right? If you haven't seen it, it's on the channel. We're show prop. We're show prop. That just sounds fun to say, right? So do go ahead and check that out. Duquesne's always a pleasure to have you in the chat, my brother. Very happy to have you this Sunday. Dorothy Jeans in the house. Dorothy, what's up? Happy to have you. What's up? All right. We got Destrove Norellis in the house. What's up? Happy to have you. I think I said Melody already. Melody, what's up? Happy to have you. We got Wesley Mader. Wesley Mader is someone, a longtime soldier behind the scenes doing some great things. Wesley, happy to have you in the chat today. Always a pleasure. We got Ernest Nicolas in here. What's up, Ernest? We got France Mosset, excusez-moi, in here. What's up? Right? Always happy to have you, right? RL48 says, I mean, please get an update on the government infrastructure buildings being built. UCLB is not up to date. Appreciate you. So here's the thing. I can't give you an update if I don't know myself. And minus the fact that that initial announcement that said China was building, or at least a Chinese company was building a lot of the government buildings. I know there's been recently 2 or 3 buildings that had finished. For example, one of the court buildings were finished recently in the downtown area, and another building that I'm drawing a blank on. I'm sure someone in the chat might be able to jog my memory. But the thing is that it's not clear to me who's building it, right? So the Chinese were supposed to build somewhere upwards of 10 or 12 different buildings in the capital, including the Senate, the Parliament building as well, which is a big one, rebuilt but yet we don't know how that's going, right? And in fact, it's very interesting because the Constitution that I'm hearing, there's rumors that the new Constitution won't even have 2 houses of Parliament. You know, we won't have a deputy senator anymore. We'll just have potentially just straight senators or maybe even straight deputies. So what does one do with the other one that's supposed to be currently in the process of being built, right? Anyway, so I guess we'll find out. But great question, RL48. And unfortunately, there's no update because I have not, there hasn't been much transparency in the construction of the reconstruction of these very important Capitol buildings, right? But great question. Thanks a lot. Edwin Williams in the house. What's up? Happy to have you guys. Let me take a quick jump in the IG. I want to make sure IG is not feeling neglected in here. We got the good is going up in value. You know what? We're going to talk about that today. So thanks for that comment. And let's see, what else am I missing? Question, is the government opening a bank for local farmers? That is happening. We've talked about it here. The government has been doing things to improve the access to financing capital for farmers. We've talked about it, and I do recommend you go and check out a prior episode of ours to get a proper update, because we won't be talking about it today. But the short response to your question is, yes, they have. Yes, they have, and they've actually been doing some really interesting things, really being done by the Central Bank of Haiti. And Central Bank of Haiti is one of the few institutions that actually work. It's actually working, right? Meaning they're doing things not to improve their pockets, but to improve the livelihood of the people, the Haitian people, and the actors within the country. That regardless of the political benefit or political blowback, they're doing things that just need to be done because it has to be done. And so the Central Bank is probably one of maybe 3 institutions in the country that I actually really do respect. And I hope one day we can have more institutions like the Central Bank, because of the things like providing access to capital to Haitian farmers across the country. But thanks for that question. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. So let's jump into what we're going to be talking about today, right? We're going to be talking about COVID in Haiti. We're going to be talking about the exchange rate, right? How that's tracking. We're going to be talking about foreign assistance, because USAID is doing some interesting things. We're going to be talking about that. Education, really what relates to Dominican Republic, and what an ambassador for Haiti has been talking about. Agriculture, an important topic. We're going to be talking about a few different things, right? In terms of financing from the World Bank, Artibonite, right? Agroeconomy Fair from Kiske University, right? And then finally, we're going to finish it up with some conversations about electricity. Okay, so action-packed, lots of things on our plate today. And listen, we got to jump into it. We got to jump into it. Excuse me. Got to get the throat moist. Already 40 minutes in. Welcome. Right. So let's get into it. Let's jump. Let's talk. So first off, bit of news has to do with COVID. COVID's going down. Those who've been watching the show long enough know I've used to provide very detailed metrics as relates to where we were last week, where we were this week. It suffice to say, we're still negative. It's less being reported per week, and COVID is effectively on the wayward decline. Last numbers we're in, we had about 1,100 active cases, which is maybe potentially considered a lot, but the Dominican Republic has last numbers I had checked were somewhere around 20 to 30,000 active cases. In Haiti, in America, goodness gracious, America hit a number where we had 200,000 yesterday. Like the day before or yesterday, America had 200,000 active cases, right? And so when I say Haiti has 1,000 active cases, I hope that puts things in a bit of a perspective in terms of just how little it has been. And it's been down considerably because about a month ago, we're perhaps about, or a month and a half, 2 months ago, we're at somewhere around 2,000 active cases. So we've shrunk that in half, right? Now, of course, with the diaspora coming in, because their countries are being shut down and it's winter, it's certainly, I can always tell you, if you're someone looking to come to Haiti, follow the principles just like you would. First and foremost, get yourself tested, right? A day or two before coming to Haiti to make sure you don't have it. You're going to come here and spread it. That's really the most important thing. You are going to be asked at the airport. A lot of folks ask me, Seejeanty, they're so asking for COVID. No, you got to take your test. Yes, you still have to take your test. You're going to be asked for. Now, will you be denied entry? No, but you will be asked it. And if you don't have your test in hand, take your information, contact information to follow up. And so just an FYI, but again, I would counsel you from a moral perspective. If you're coming to Haiti for this winter break, make sure you get tested. Make sure you aren't positive. And if you are positive, you can't cancel your flight at no charge. A lot of airlines are still allowing people to cancel their flights at no charge, right? Get yourself better, heal up, or just rebook it for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, and then go to Haiti, right? Because again, you don't want to be bringing that, to a country that has very limited beds and medical capacity to handle a crisis of that nature, right? So that's the news as relates to COVID. The exchange rate, as you know, has been debilitating business across the country. And again, it's not the exact value of the exchange rate that's been debilitating business, but the rapid decrease of the value of the dollar vis-a-vis the good, right? And it's been tremendously difficult because certain budgets were made, and for example, the textile, segment has been in such a decline already before COVID, because of pay lock, already before a 50% increase in wages by Parliament when they were still active before they left overnight, right? But then you have what's in effect another 50% doubling of wage costs because the dollar has decreased, and that's how they're making their revenue, right? And they have to convert it, and because they convert it, they have to purchase that amount. That's double, right? And not just textiles, industrial, any big job impacting industry, particularly exporters. Exporters are being hurt tremendously, not only because the good becomes non-competitive from a vis-a-vis other currencies, but then again, your cost basis in the country goes down. And as we know, there's really just about 2 big drivers of economies going forward, and that is exporting and tourism, right? And now tourism coming in, that also hurts tourists, right? Because now they need more dollars to purchase the same amount of stuff, right? So across the board, this increase in the currency is a very negative thing on many different fronts, right? And it wouldn't be so bad if Haiti itself had a strong economy and imported less, and the little bit that we did have to import, now we have a better deal because our currency is better. But since we import everything, in fact, it hurts domestic production because imported goods are cheaper, right, than domestic goods. And we already had that problem already in the country, but now it's only more aggravated, right? And so at the end of the day, everything in the economy balances out, right, over the long run, right? A small change of price, everything recalibrates itself. But if it happens too quickly, like it just did, like literally overnight, you wake up and used to be 120 good for $1, and now you're at 60 good for $1, it throws a lot of things out of whack. Now, I can say that being in the country now for going on 3-4 months, post this massive change of the currency, I can tell you that we've seen a tremendous improvement in the quality of the imbalance. Right? It doesn't cost. In other words, some prices I've seen, a lot of prices has actually gone down. Given the fact that so much is imported and actually as inventories decreased and suppliers repurchased, they were able to pass some of the savings down to regular consumers, which is a positive, right? But again, the overall impact is still, right? Still that a lot of companies are letting people go, and those who can are restructuring their employee salaries so they can stay above water, right? And of course, it's going to be in the book, by the way. But a little quick tip: if you're an American coming to Haiti, and you're going to be structuring your businesses, and particularly if you're going to be doing an export base or any sort of business that really depends on dollars, right? Here's a pro tip: structure your business, your salary, your wages, anything you can contract, but in particular your employees, structure it in dollars. And this way you don't have an exchange rate risk, right? Where one day you wake up and now the good is worth double what it's cost, and now you need double the amount of dollars to pay your employees because you have to convert it to good before you can pay them. Just stick it to dollars, and however the exchange rate moves, it has nothing to do with you. If it goes down, that's great for your employees because now they're getting more good. If it goes up, it protects you, right? And the employees still keep their jobs at least, even if the good is going to be tough on them from a day-to-day perspective, right? And so that's a pro tip that it's in the book amongst many others that will be coming out before then in December. Okay. Next news story has to do with foreign assistance, right? USAID is expanding a program called Haiti Invest. Haiti Invest is a project that USAID is doing along with Delphine Investments, a very large investment group, called the Caribbean Resilience Investment Fund. To date, the fund supports 19 small, medium enterprises, right? Small to medium enterprises with about $25 million in capital, right? For example, one recipient is Gade SA, which is a clothing and accessories brand in the country that's received some support from them, for example. And of course, they're looking to expand, get more SMEs a part of their network, and support more Haitian business. So that's good news to hear. And that's the sort of foreign assistance that's A-OK, right? If you're in a position in your government, in your country, to influence the government to impact Haiti, tell them to keep their rice in their country. Okay, Haiti has enough rice. We can grow our own rice. Okay, tell them to keep their charity money away. Okay, there's plenty of educated Haitians here. Haiti doesn't need any more training, right? Haiti doesn't need any more photo op educational schools. There's so many good schools here that are doing a great job of employing Haitians. What Haiti needs is support of capital. That's the fundamental thing Haiti needs. Haiti lacks capital. Doesn't lack smart people. Doesn't lack ingenuity. It doesn't have a cultural deficiency. It lacks capital. The banks here in this country do not lend to Haitians. I'm gonna say it again. The banks in this country do not lend. Okay. So if you are looking to do a genuine impact to this country, keep your school shoes, keep your clothing, keep your free stuff. I know they make easier photos when you can grab a poor Haitian kid and you can put him on your shoulder and say, look how good of a person I am. Look how good I'm feeding this kid. Yay for me. And you get all these likes. I know it makes you feel good. But what can really impact that kid, what should make you feel even better, right, is if you can get that kid's parent a job, right? Orphanages, believe it or not, this is a true fact. Google it. Don't take my word for it. In Haiti, over 90% of orphanages, the kids in there, they have parents. I'm gonna say it again. Somebody's not hearing me. I'm gonna say it again. When you see an orphanage being talked about in Haiti, and you see these kids, and oh, Christian organization, we're helping kids in Haiti. Guess what? They have parents that are alive that would love to keep them, but they can't afford them, right? But if they had a job, they would, right? And so if you're looking to do real charity in the country, and I'm talking to you, the person watching, and I'm talking to you, Mr. Director of USAID or IDB, or Mr. Director of non-for-profit NGO, right? And by the way, let me quick side note. If you're an NGO and you're trying to contact me to highlight your program, I'm not going to. I don't highlight charities. I don't highlight NGOs. You will be ignored. I don't know why folks think this channel is about NGO and charity. I don't know what makes people think that, right? We are so far away from NGOs and charity. It's crazy, right? So don't do it. Don't message me if you're about charity and NGOs, please. You're only going to ignore yourself. I'm not ignoring you. You're ignoring yourself, right? But there's still some NGOs that I will work with because they're doing the right thing. They're doing it the right way, where they're not giving free stuff. They're empowering the community to work themselves, right? There's a term that's being used a lot, and for when it works, I like to hear it, which is a lot of organizations are working themselves out of a job. Right? Your goal as NGO is not to just be here and give free food. It's to work yourself out of a job, meaning you empower this community so well, they can do a job so good, you can leave and it will still be self-sustaining because everyone that has been a part of your thing, whatever it is, they have jobs now, right? They've taken over those responsibilities. There's a commerce action behind it. And you're not needed. Your charity isn't needed anymore because there's an ecosystem that is stable and around, right? I got somebody in IG saying there's no sound. I'm not too sure why there's no sound. There should be sound, right? So I do apologize for you. But if you're not hearing any sound on Instagram, please go over to, let me actually type it. Yeah, what am I saying? If you can't hear any sound, go over. Let me type that in. Can't hear me? Please go to YouTube /Seejeanty. Boom. Boom. All right, just had to, it's working now. Okay, good. But just in case, I had to type that in real quick for my IG people, right? And so again, I want to make NGOs villains. I mean, some NGOs are doing some really great work, particularly the health ones. The health ones are really doing some really great work. There's a lot of, cancer victims and a lot of really important things being done by some NGOs. So I am not here to cast doubt on the incredible work some NGOs are doing, right? But a lot of them aren't doing any good work. A lot of them are just here for the photo op and the incredible money that can be made from charity, right? And if you're legitimate about empowering the country and empowering the people, structure it in that way, right? So let's move away from the sidebar. Let's go to the main conversation, which is Haiti Invest and USAID. That they're doing it the right way. They're doing it by providing companies, small and middle-sized companies in Haiti, right? Money, okay? And training them and helping them and supporting them, not just saying, oh, here's money and walk away and then be mad if they mismanage it, but being a part of the process, training them while providing them the capital they need to grow, to employ, and to execute, right? Because money, anyone who started a business, they know, you need money. Money is what you need. I don't need coaching, right? Coaching helps. I'll take coaching, but first and foremost, I need money to be able to open up my business and execute that idea, right? And so any entity that's doing things like Haiti Invest, hats off, and whoever you are, if you're watching this right now and you have a heart of gold and you really want to help Haiti, right? Do it, but think about how can you do it in a way where you can provide self-sustainable employment or entrepreneurship opportunities for the people you're helping, because there is no other way to help Haitians anywhere in the world or anybody in the world, right? except to give them the tools where they can support themselves. I'm saying it again, somebody's not hearing me. You can only help someone by giving them the tools to help themselves. And a very important tool, ask any rich person, any rich billionaire, they'll tell you. What will they tell you? They'll tell you money is a tool. Money doesn't mean anything. Money doesn't give you happiness. Money doesn't make your problems go away, right? The tool, money is a tool, right? And so when I say the proverb, give people tools so they can empower themselves, a big part of it is money, but also the ecosystem of support so they can be successful. Okay? All right? Okay, that's the next news story. Next news story has to do with education. Education. Right? We have a new ambassador of Haiti in the Dominican Republic, a new ambassador of Haiti in the Dominican Republic. Okay? And this ambassador is really trying to improve the situation for the many Haitian students. The many Haitian students that are in the Dominican Republic. And what's interesting is, and what's heartbreaking too, is that so many students in the Dominican Republic, Haitian nationals, they're in the DR, right, on tourist visas, right? They haven't been able to apply to the Dominican Republic for proper student visas, even though they're enrolled in school and might be doing well academically. They're having to use student visas where, 3 months in, that you have to go out, you have to pay for another visa and then come back in, and the whole hassle, right? And because really a big part of it is because the Haitian embassy, the Haitian consulate in the Dominican Republic and over the Haitian government in general does such a poor job of supporting their Haitian citizens in other countries. Because you have to get ID, you have to get approval, you have to get certain documentation that really should come from the Haitian embassy, right? But the Haitian government, being the Haitian government, doesn't put the priorities of its peoples first, right? And you have a situation where you can't apply for the student visa because you can't get the things from the Haitian government in the Dominican Republic or wherever country may be, right? You won't get any function from the Haitian government. And so many times you have to actually fly back to Haiti, pay somebody under the table to get your documents expedited, and then fly back, right? And that's really the system for many Haitians, right? Because of the support. And a lot of them don't have the money. Let's be frank, a lot of them don't have the money to take a plane, find somebody to pay them under the table, probably get screwed once or twice, right? Paying people under the table. Because, the first time or two, you're going to be hoodwinked. Person won't do the work for you. You got to pay a second time, right? And then finally fly back, buy another plane ticket, fly back, right? And that's a lot of money and a lot of time for a student. I know you Americans out there can appreciate your ramen noodle days when you were eating your ramen noodles in a college dorm room, unable to pay for anything. And now you're asking, that was you in America. Now imagine a Haitian coming out of Haiti trying to advance him or herself through an education. And because your government doesn't work in your own country, and it's not working in another country either, you're having to do these extra things. And so the Haitian ambassador, newly appointed for the DR, spoke to that effect. Said he recognized the plight of the many Haitians who were there, and said that excuse me, and said that he's going to be working on doing what he can to regularize it on his side, but also work with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, right, to see what can be done by the Dominican Republic to sort of give Haitians a break, right, and give them potentially more time to work with his consulate or his embassy to get those documents that a lot of schools and the government's being asked. I mean, look, 80% of the students in the Dominican Republic, Haitian students in the Dominican Republic, are on tourism visas. That's crazy. That's crazy, right? That's nuts, right? And something has to change. Right? And so we'll keep an eye out on that, and certainly any Haitian in the Dominican Republic over the next couple months, 6 months or so. I certainly look forward to hearing if and getting an update from you guys, and you guys telling me, are you guys seeing an improvement? Are you guys seeing a difference in how things are moving and going in the country? Okay. The next news story has to do with agriculture. The next news story has to do with agriculture. And that's always a pleasure of mine to talk about, given that incredible importance for agriculture and what agriculture means from a national sovereignty perspective, from a health of your people's perspective, and honestly, from an economic perspective, because you can get self-sustaining, and more importantly, you can get to a point where you're exporting product, you're growing your economy, and you're providing opportunities for your people, right? And so agriculture is always a part that I always try to find news stories happening, and I always enjoy sharing, because believe it or not, that's probably one of the biggest underreported components of Haiti. There are important things happening in the agriculture sector that's being missed, and that's one of the things I enjoy very much talking about. Give me a second to drink this sip of water. Thank you very much. So the World Bank, $7.75 million to strengthen the agricultural sector in Haiti. The World Bank, $7.75 million to support the agricultural sector in the country, right? On top of that, they've previously donated, this is just this year, alongside the International Development Bank, to the tune of $15 million, right, to support an environmental fund to help with a lot of rebrowsing and replanting, reforestry initiatives, right? And of course, I see Music Lover 2 in the chat real quick, just popped in my periphery there, not helping Haitians. Well, okay, actually, I'm sorry. Music Lover is responding to what he was saying before. I see. Let me see. Let me read that in full. Actually, yes, you responded to something else. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm Music Lover saying something else. But nonetheless, I'm sure somebody's thinking it. So let me answer and respond to it, which is what? Which is the fact that a lot of these programs are going and doing. Listen, put it like this. Let me say it in a different way. I can't tell you the amount of big business that I've been to. Some of them have been on this channel, where the instruments in that business were bought, for example, by or through the facilitation of USAID. I can't tell you how many big entities that are employing 100, 200 Haitians, where the funding for them to expand came from the IDB or the World Bank, right? Now, are they totally aligned with the native interests of the folks and the people? No, because the only alignment you're going to have that's 100% is when something comes directly from your country, from your people, right? Being led by a Haitian, a government that is pushing for its people and not for itself, right? And that's when you have a fully aligned entity, whatever it is, that's pushing, right? The IDB and the World Bank and USAID will still ultimately answer to their countries and still have a line of benefit that their countries have to see, right? Whatever that mean. That may mean just a PR perspective, just a photo op perspective, a byline news article perspective, and or getting consultants from their country to do the analysis and do the initial legwork, right? That's just a reality that isn't going away anytime soon, right? But my point is that when I look at the major developments happening economically in the country, right? Bring up the criticisms from these big international institutions, right? Especially historically, that they've done, right? Particularly IMF is particularly have a particularly bad track record when it comes to Haiti and some of the impact, the long-term impact that their initiatives have done, right? But we look at these other entities and you look at the specific places they've helped and the entities they've helped, they've done a good amount of good Is it more good than bad? That's up to you to decide, right? But I think they've done a lot of good that has not been recognized. And I have not recognized until I, for myself, saw my own two eyes the amount of big infrastructure projects that they've completed in the country for the benefit of Haitians and the Haitian economy. I'll give you one example real quick. If you guys remember watching the ALS episode, the Haiti Lean Service, the massive commercial laundromat that's servicing, Port-au-Prince and the entire coast of the resorts that happen around Akeli and Côte d'Azur, right? And that includes Sumer and Mahou Beach and Calico Beach and all these different places. That whole strip. I'm not saying they do business with them, but nonetheless they support that strip and roll of Airbnbs and a lot of different businesses. All the machinery in there, just about all the machine, just about had little little symbols or logos, I guess logos of the USAID on the machinery. Meaning what? Meaning the USAID either purchased it or had a very important hand in them getting that machinery, to improve, right? That's one clear example. So a lot of you folks saw that episode. It's still on the YouTube channel if you guys want to take a look at it. ALS Haiti Seejeanty, you'll see it. And a lot of that machinery again came from USAID. So again, just listen. We have to be open arms to anyone who's engaging Haiti in the right way. And I don't care if it's Putin. I don't care if it's Trump, right? If Haiti business is being supported, okay, then it can't but be a good thing, no matter who's giving it to you, right? If it's structured in a way that you have small, medium enterprises being able to grow and get access to the biggest weak point of doing business anywhere in the world, especially in Haiti, capital. Capital. That is the fundamental issue Haiti suffers, capital. Okay? Access to capital in particular. All right? The next news story has to do with Artibonite Distributions. There's been the Minister of Agriculture, which has been really under the radar. We're doing some really great things in conjunction with Taiwan, have provided 20 tillers and 20 bags of fertilizer. I'm talking about big bags, not just like a little bag. I'm talking bags, right? Of fertilizer being distributed across Artibonite region, which is very important. The Artibonite region is vital. It's the heart, you can say, of the agricultural potential and capacity of the country. And so it's absolutely crucial that they're doing what they're doing in the country. So hats off to the Minister of Agriculture. Minister of Agriculture has certainly impressed me with what they've been doing with the limited funds that they've gotten from the Haitian government, which is a bigger issue. But hats off to the Minister of Agriculture for pushing and making those initiatives. But there's still a lot more that could be done, right? But nonetheless, what they've done, I certainly hats off. The Agro Economy Fair at Quisqueya happened this past week, this Thursday. And certainly, that's one of the reasons why I can't wait until the Seejeanty team can be expanded. Certainly, it's something I would love to put on camera and bring to the channel. To be frank, I wasn't even aware of this event happening. So, but nonetheless, I did want to highlight that it's the largest fair, agro economy fair in the country that happens annually, and they show off products including salt, soaps, creams, ointments, yogurt, spirits, crafts, in addition to just a plethora of different products that you know and love, but reprocessed in different ways, like mango juices, and a lot of different applications. Some of your more favorite vegetables in the country, fruits and vegetables, and other agricultural mainstays in the country are being done. And so certainly we'll keep an eye out for that next year. I'll try to see what I can do about getting it on camera next year. But it's very important to mention that we did have a fair as well attended by dozens of participants, right, and young participants from all over the country. And one very important thing that many of the participants, those who had particularly strong business cases and were well received, had the capacity to apply for the Hope Prize. Hope Prize is a $1 million global pot to help students, colleges and universities provide funding for themselves and particularly for the students to continue their education. And so hats off to those who are able to participate and ultimately put their names on the list to potentially receive the Holtz Prize, right? And the last news story has to do with electricity. Last news story has to do with electricity, right? The Turkish boats are coming soon. The Turkish boats are coming soon. Now let's give some folks some context before I jump into that news story. A few months ago, randomly, President Moise announced that there are going to be 2 big boats coming to the country that can provide electricity. Now, most of the population who heard that was like, what? Man, you better sit down somewhere. What are you talking about? This guy is talking out of his you-know-what again, right? Joe has a reputation of just saying things and not coming to fruition, right? But lo and behold, the Turkish government announced it on their side, saying, yeah, we're sending 2 boats to Haiti, 2 boats that can generate megawatts of electricity. In fact, one's going to be supplying 79 megawatts to the Verax terminal, and another's going to be providing 36 megawatts in Cap Haitien, right, the second biggest city of Haiti. And so it was announced this week that the deal is coming closer, right? And the contract for this deal actually has been forwarded for review by the Bureau of National Contracts, right? But keep in mind, and rather this is the Superior Court of Accounts, by the way. But that's the same department actually that just a week before had saw a slashing of their powers. Their administrative powers were slashed. Though the Constitution said very clearly that the Superior Court of Accounts must review in depth and up or down any contract the country signs, Jovenel Moise changed by decree to say, so here's how it's going to work now. He said, so they're going to have 3 days and not 3 months, okay? And those 3 days, the result of it, we'll take into consideration. You can file it. We'll appreciate that you gave it to us, but we'll take it into consideration. Thank you. And if you don't finish it, well, we're still going to move forward with it, right? Now, a lot of folks can say, well, man, what is this? This is a more avenue for corruption. But bear in mind, guys, the Petrocaribe scandal, where somewhere upwards of $3 to $4 to $5 billion were sucked out of this fund and ultimately disappeared into the mists of the Haitian mountains, happened with a Superior Court of Accounts in function and still delaying projects by 3 months. So it doesn't seem to me that this Superior Court of Accounts does anything in terms of really disrupting corruption, right? Or disrupting the capacity for corruption, right? Now, potentially, maybe they do. Maybe we'll see that the amount of corruption by the government increases threefold, which is going to say a lot because this is a very corrupt government. To say it will increase threefold, that's like a lot, right? But certainly, the way things are and the argument being made to why their powers were reduced, we talked about this last week, which we should have, has been because there's, when you drive in Haiti and you come in and there's some roads that may have some potholes. Say if I'm a magistrat, say I'm the city mayor, and I want to fix these, right? And I do an open bid, right? And say, hey, guys, if you're a construction company, send me your bid for how much you would fix this road for, the section of road that has a lot of potholes. I get the bids. It would take me as a mayor 3 months, no matter how big the pothole is. I mean, listen, a bridge could collapse, right? And a bridge did collapse on the way to Cabaret, actually. And it's sitting in a broken state very precariously, right, where you have to slow down, dips, and you have to keep going. it takes at least 3 months to do anything in this country because of the Court of Accounts. Any level of contract signing by any entity of the government has to take 3 months to be reviewed. Right? And so, however you may feel about President Moise, this certainly has been a roadblock to initiating a lot of the big projects that he wants to do and is trying to do. And so it was only after the decree that lowered their powers that he submitted the contract for the Turkish boats that are going to be coming, right? And again, altogether, going to be 115 megawatts of electricity. Again, 115 megawatts. Okay? 150 megawatts that are coming by boat, right? So it's good to hear. And of course, we talked about the other electricity initiatives that have been happening in the country. We've talked about the solar panel project that's supposed to be bringing solar panel fields to help support local electrical grids across the country for some of the smaller big cities that are supposed to be happening. We've talked about how a lot of the, for example, the Pellegrini and a lot of damaged turbines that were recently rehabbed or being rehabbed again, go figure. But a lot of things have been coming online from that perspective. And of course, we are talking about a natural gas plant that's being built, green line being built very soon for the Port-au-Prince area. Right, so some pretty big electrical projects happening. Is it going to be enough to electrify the country within a few years? Time will tell. Right, time will tell. But certainly, electricity is a very important part of what makes countries work, and we certainly do need. In 2021, we're going to be in 2021, and just very shortly, we're blinking. You're in 2021. You can't be in 2021, and we still have a situation where, the vast majority of folks don't have access to electricity. Now, once we are at a point in Haiti where everyone can have electricity, then we certainly have to ask people to pay for electricity. Right? There's no such thing as a free lunch, especially when it comes to electricity, right? And so just like everyone pays for water, everyone pays for gas, right? Folks, as long as we can make it affordable for everyone, we do need to get to a point where folks are paying for their electricity, or at least prioritize it. There's too many folks I know will go years and never pay a single electricity. But in fact, 90% of all bills that are or invoices sent from EDH to the public goes unpaid. Right? Which is a problem. Which is a very big problem. Because you can't produce electricity for free. It doesn't work like that. Anyone who has rented an apartment in America, rented a home in America, knows exactly what I'm talking about. You have to. It's only natural. You have to pay for your electricity. Now, again, how can we do it in a way that the vast majority can afford? So certainly subsidizing the poorest people in Haiti is an important thing the government needs to do. Right, but there should still be a component that everyone has to pay and contribute into. Only fair, right? Only right, right? So that, my friends, is the news for the week, right? That is the news for the week. Let's just do a quick recap for those who maybe came in a little late. We talked about the exchange rate. We talked about COVID and the fact that the numbers are going on the way down. Very happy to see that, right? As always, they continue on the way down. We talked about the exchange rate. We talked about the exchange rate and how we're starting to see that the exchange rate is starting to edge, it's starting to move in the other direction. We're starting to see it move towards $66, 66 good for a dollar, right? Before it was about 62 or 60, right? So we're starting to see a move in the other direction. In fact, a lot of stories are coming out where dollars are becoming more and more scarce in the country, which is only going to lead to an increase in the value of the dollar and a decrease ultimately of the HTG, right? So we talked about that, and that's going to be coming very soon, right? So keep an eye on that. That's hopefully will be good news. Is it going to be enough though? because with so many companies closed down, will be enough? We don't know, right? Especially if the pace is going very slow. We talk about USAID and Haiti Invest and the fact that they've dedicated thus far $25 million across 19 SMEs, right, to support Haitian business and Haitian investment. We talk about the ambassador of Haiti coming and doing big things in the Dominican Republic to help Haitian students. 80% of them are on student visas. 80% on student visas. Sorry. Excuse me. 80% are on tourism visas, right? Meaning only 20% is on actual student visas. 80% is on tourism visas, right? We talked about that's a problem and that needs to be resolved. We talked about agriculture and 7.75 million it was announced to be dedicated to the World Bank to strengthening the agricultural sector in Haiti. We talked about Haiti distributions happening, 20 tillers and 20 bags of fertilizer being distributed across the area to farmers by the Minister of Agriculture. We talked about the agro-economy fair at Kiskeya University. And finally, we talked about electricity. Turkish electricity boats are around the corner. Around the corner. We talked about that, right? So that is the news story, right, for the week. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick intermission, literally probably 1 minute, and then I'm diving into the comments, right? I'm diving into the comments. I'm here to have a conversation, right? We're going to enter the second part of the show, which is the conversation, the chat with Seejeanty directly. A lot of you folks who, try to DM me or try to message me on the side, this is your chance to chat, right? I just edge out this time during the week to chat with you guys, and so stick around for that if you want to. But those who have a busy Sunday on their plates, you're more than welcome to skidoo and go do that. We've completed the news portion, the Haiti Biz news portion of the show. So again, give me 1 minute. And by the way, I'm going to be closing down the IG feed. We're wrapped up. Those who are on IG who want to watch, hop over to YouTube, Seejeanty. Hop over to IG, YouTube or Facebook, Seejeanty. Sorry, hop over. So I need to take a break. I'm tired. And we'll be right back. All right. Let me close down IG. Peace, IG. Okay. All right. And we'll be right back. YouTube and Facebook, we're right back. And we're having a conversation in the comments. Don't go anywhere. Okay. If you want to chat, anyways.
CNBC, Bloomberg, focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Haiti Biz News show Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Haiti Biz News show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened, and then dissected in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do.
Boom. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Oops. What was that? We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Good to be back. And we are going to be chatting with you guys. Everyone who's commented thus far, I want to appreciate you guys for taking the time and providing your perspectives, your opinions, your realities to the conversation. It's very important. It's not a one-sided, not a one-man show here. It's really a collaborative entity we're trying to do here. And that's one reason why, again, if you guys don't know about that community action group that exists now, do make sure you do join it immediately after this stream. I'm going to type and put it in again. It's a Facebook group where the conversation can continue even after the stream's over. In between episodes, the conversation, the work can continue in that channel. And I encourage everyone to join. It doesn't cost a thing. It's just a space for folks to really be able to conversate and be independent of me. I'm not really going to be in there necessarily. I may drop a question to kind of get these conversations going in that group, but beyond that, it's a space really for you guys to continue the conversations as you see it, however you see it. I don't have to agree with it, so long as you guys are respectful and provide facts right behind what you guys are saying, right? Certainly, it's really a space for you guys, right? A safe space, as folks like to say in more liberal circles in America, right? So let's jump into the chats here, right? Lenz Monstein says, I'll go to Haiti in the summer. I'll do my part for my neighborhood. The country needs to be clean. That's what's up. That's great. If you can fly in and if your community say, hey, we're gonna clean up this area, right? You're not gonna just complain and say, it's done. You say, we're gonna clean up this area, and you'll pay to get it to a proper dumpster or proper, facility, then fantastic, right? And I think if we have more Haitians who complain less and do more, Haiti can't but hate. Haiti but can't change. All right. So Lenz Monestein, I'll hold you to it. I'll tell you what, Lenz, if you actually do it, make sure to email me. My email is in the description. It should be anyways. Seejeanty at Hypro Solutions. Email me those photos, man. I will republish them on my network because that's exactly the sort of stuff we need. We need less complainers and more doers, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. Marjorie says, si tout le monde qui te mette tête ensemble pour Haïti, c'est bon, oui. Exactly. I totally agree with you. Jam says, I love the project, but let's hope it's not going to be a sort of gated community style like in the U.S. Are we talking about the real estate project maybe? I don't know which. On Jamsey said something. I'm not sure if Jamsey's still here. Wants to reiterate because it was a while back he typed it, so I'm not too sure what he's saying. What he's referencing, but probably the video. As I'm seeing other people talk around him, I think it's about the video. So yeah, we can't knock development projects, right? The fact that it is going to be in a situation where there's security guards. You have to, when you pull up, you have to identify why you're there, right? It's a security issue, right? And a feeling of being safe in a country where the perception in the country has been so diluted, folks really don't feel safe, right? And as much as it would be nice and naive to think you can just, have just, no walls and folks just coming in and out. The reality is the perception of the country has been so diluted. No one would accept that, right? And so my alternative is see what you can do, right? To not only help with that perception, to allow projects to be greenlit without the need for quote unquote so much security, but also ultimately, we need folks criticizing less about what real estate projects are being done. Appreciate that there is investment happening, and finally, if you don't like the sort of things being invested in, organize your capital and make a change, right? And do the type of real estate projects you feel other people should be doing. Because at the end of the day, if there's economic opportunity that you identify and other people aren't doing, then do it. and profit. That's what commerce means. That's what capitalism in the best practiced way means. It means there's opportunity. No one's taking advantage of those opportunities, and you do, and you do, and you win, right? And so I encourage anyone who's watching me not to complain about what other people with money are doing. Ask yourself what you can do to organize capital and make a case to people with money to say, hey, there's middle income, low income housing opportunities to be built. And here's how we can structure it so we can make a return and still help these people, right? Or since charity is a buzzword and so many people like to feel good about themselves, create an NGO, create a non-for-profit that focuses on not caring about profit, but focuses on providing homes to those who have very poor homes or no homes in the country. Right? But simply just don't type in someone's chat to say and criticize investments that's happening in the country, because any investment, high or low, in a country like Haiti should be applauded, should be appreciated, and it should be shared to encourage others to follow their versions of what Haiti needs. Sounds good? All right. Thanks, Jasmine, for your comments there. We got D. Stroven at Norris in the house. What's up? Got Dorothy Jean says, hey, good morning. I'm from H-Town. Video quality has improved tremendously. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Right? Let's see what else we got. Who else we have here? Scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. Load Stores, I want you to talk on the comment I made related to the real estate project in Kenskoff. I said that Haiti is not only Port-au-Prince, which I hate. Can they have similar projects in the countryside? So L Lord 22 said that. So a few different things. I guess he's trying to say I need to go out of Port-au-Prince. I guess if Lord missed it, I announced I am going to be in Jacmel. I think I responded to you, where I said I've done, or maybe I was thinking to respond, but I'm like, yeah, this guy doesn't know already that I have a lot of outside of Port-au-Prince content. I'm not going to waste my time or breath to have him go through the playlist and see that I have stuff in Miraguan, I have stuff in Cap Haitien, I have stuff Inch, I have stuff in Mirabalais, I have stuff all across Miraguan. I mean, heck, the episode I dropped before this one that this guy is writing, you need to do stuff out of Port-au-Prince. Bruh, I just last week, I went to Miraguan with my father, and I showed you guys the city and outside of Port-au-Prince, right? Outside of Miraguan. I wasn't even in Miraguan proper. I was outside in the woods in Miraguan, walking around, giving you guys a tour, right? So that's probably the second biggest comment I tend to ignore, is when people come in and say, you need to, I read it and I acknowledge it, and I do want to do more, and I'm doing more, right? But usually you hear people writing that who haven't taken the time to look through the many outside of Port-au-Prince content that I've created. And so if you're one of those people, stop being lazy and actually go through a playlist before you criticize someone and see what content that person has. And you might be surprised that person may actually have been doing exactly what you're criticizing. All right, so that's number one. Number two, I talked about it at the top of the hour. You may have missed it, Lord, where I said a lot of these construction projects are done in the shadows because of, number one, the criticism. For example, one I just talked about earlier, where you have guys, they're in gated communities. Well, who cares, right? It's an investment, and as we Haitians who understand the economic plight of our country, we should be lauding those investments. Meanwhile, if you feel so strongly about it, let's organize either non-for-profit activity or charity activity to help give housing. That's one charity I don't ever really see. I don't ever really see. I see this food stuff, and I see the free backpacks to kids, because kids are just easier photo ops. I never see things that matter, right? I don't see movements towards giving their parents jobs. I don't see movements to give housing, right? You see criticisms of people building houses, but you don't see people organizing to provide housing to Haitians. Why is that? Is it harder to take a photo and convince other people to give money for things that really matter? That's probably it, right? And so that's another reason why it's not as easy to find things, even in Port-au-Prince, much less outside of Port-au-Prince, because so much investment is done in a veil of secrecy in the country because of the criticism of many Haitians, many in this, like in this comment, who take any investment that isn't for the poorest people as an attack of Haitianness, right? That's offensive to them, right? I mean, and I say this because I've had a few comments in that video saying, this is great, but what about the City Soleil people? I'm like, well, as soon as the gang warfare stops in City Soleil, I'll gladly go over there and highlight them, right? But we have enough of those highlighting. We need to highlight that there's another side of Haiti. There's investment happening. There's wealth being generated. And there's comfort being provided to Haitians all across the world for them to come back and impact their country without losing much of what they're used to. For example, and why is it that we expect a certain standard of Haitians for Haitians, right? That also doesn't make much sense for me. But I'm seeing some lag on this chat here, so you guys will tell me if it's acting up pretty bad here, right? I'm seeing some lag. You guys will let me know. We'll keep an eye on that, right? So let's see what else. What else we were saying. Let's see where were we? We got France Morissette saying, please, it's important for the diaspora to know there's a lot of potential not being looked at Coutard. Yeah, I've said this. I love it. I love that Coutard always comes up, and I tell you that whenever I'm going to Cap Haitien, I'll say it again. I will not go to Cap Haitien without tracking down Coutard. Don't you worry. Coutard can say no to me. I will still show up to his garage and highlight Coutard Motors. Don't you worry. Coutard will be highlighted on Seejeanty whenever I get to Cap Haitien. But the thing is, Coutard Motors is not in Port-au-Prince. I'm in Port-au-Prince. To go to Cap Haitien, it's a journey. It's at least, given the day. I mean, it can be 12 hours to get to Cap Haitien, but at least a half day to get to Cap Haitien, right, from Port-au-Prince. If you're driving, if you're flying, it's very expensive, especially if you want to try to bring a whole team. It's like $300 a ticket, per team member. And so for those reasons, minus one of my very first Seejeanty episodes I did when I rebooted the channel, where I proposed to my wife. You haven't seen that episode, do see that episode. But of course, my time was focused on other things. But I always say it, and I'll say it again. Coutard Motors will be highlighted whenever I go back to Cap Haitien. I promise you. And I love Coutard has an army of people who really have. Rightly so. Again, for those who don't know Coutard Motors, it's a company that's creating buses, made in Haiti buses, and being sold in Haiti, which is awesome, right? And I really wish he had a dealership here in Port-au-Prince. I would have been there ages ago, right? But he's only in Cap Haitien at this point in time. So don't worry. Thanks for the reminder. Coutard Motors will be highlighted. He's on the to-do list, so I appreciate it, right? Lise Motin said the COVID-19 vaccine is nearly done. I hope it's be ready for spring. I agree. Isabel Seamel says, so why don't they help with the job? I must have missed that question. Cluny Etienne says, I agree with you on that. Charity is holding us back. Access to capital is what's needed. Opportunity is the issue, right? On point with that. Marjorie says, just like when Bill Clinton destroyed Haiti's rice farming, right? Shocked on reading that. That is true. Google it. Bill Clinton openly apologized for single-handedly destroying another country's agricultural system, which is incredible. But do Google it if you're not familiar with Bill Clinton's effect on Haiti's rice market, right? Jasmine says very strongly that he dislikes us. Let me use his word, hates the NGOs, mess up the country. And I would never go as far to say I hate NGOs. I think, as I mentioned, there's a lot of NGOs doing some very important work in terms of medicine and other things in the country. And so that has to be recognized. But a lot of them are either doing the right things wrongly, are doing the wrong things with the allure of right intentions, right? And so a lot of them are doing right wrongly because they don't know better. And so it's really on us to inform them. Here's a better way to do it. Do it by not giving free stuff. Give it by employing, period, job creating, right? For example, those who are really interested in helping kids, like the orphanages, focus on reuniting kids with their parents, finding what the issue with the parents are to why they decided to give them away, and see how we can help supply those parents with those skill sets and opportunities and funding, capital-wise, right, to go back to school or open up their business, open up a little. I mean, it's not big businesses, right? I mean, if a family can support their kids simply by opening up a home store. A home store is what those who in Haiti or grew up in the hood in America know what I'm talking about. There's always a house in the neighborhood that you can go and buy soda and chips and just some quick hit stuff that you ran out of toilet paper crap. Go over next door. There's a woman or somebody, a family that's selling stuff in a little pantry, right? Like a neighborhood pantry. You can help somebody set up a business like that. That does very well in terms of providing families with enough to self-sustain in Haiti, right? That's just one example out of many different examples, right? For example, another one is a lot of men, pantries usually a women activity. A lot of men are handy with their hands. A lot of men can either fix things, auto repair, home carpentry, things of that nature, right? Home handyman. But they don't have the means to buy wrenches and buy the base material to be able to start fixing professionally, right? And so your NGO could work with these fathers to get the equipment, round out their capacity through a little bit of training, provide them some fundamental funding, and empower them now to work for themselves, right? So that's one way an NGO can do a lot better than what they've been doing, right? So helping kids help their parents, right? So the kids can stay with their family. Because trust me, no kid wants to be pulled away from their family because of their economic means. I can go on. I can make an episode about this, and maybe and actually a very great book is by Daniel Jean-Louis, Trade Not Aid, which is a book really geared towards helping NGOs do better in the country. And I've had Daniel Jean-Louis on the program at least twice for sure. He's a good friend, a very smart guy. And he's really seen that there has been a slight shift in how NGOs have been attacking and approaching Haiti and development, which is the right thing. So I want to go as far to say, NGOs need hate, but certainly a lot of them could improve what they're doing. As Jamsey follows up and says, there's a cultural dependence that's being created. So I totally agree with you from that perspective. We got Henry saying, so glad someone like you turned light on the issue. I've been saying that for years. No problem. Thank you, brother. I hope to see you again, by the way, Henry. First time I've seen your name in here. Do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hope to see you again in the chat. Right? Mad Pete says, why do we need to go to school in the DR? Right? Why do we need to go to school in the DR? Can the Haitian government create or build universities in the country? That's a great question, Mad Pete. Sometimes I can't even comment. Your question is so on point, right? I mean, why is it that Haitian students are having to leave? I mean, I would love to wake up one day and hear that, we have Jamaican students coming to Haitian universities to learn. We have Dominicans coming into Haitian universities to learn. We have Americans, African Americans of all shade and stripe and color and background coming into Haitian universities to learn, because our universities are well respected, solid and accredited, and have everything you need to compete with any other university on the planet, right? But until the Haitian government takes education as a national priority and really ensures students, universities are not only well funded but well equipped, right? And students actually and teachers actually get payment on time, and students get the support financially to be able to study, right, and focus, not worrying about where to get the next meal while they're in school, right? Until all those different components come together, DR will continue to get Haitian students looking to improve their lot in life. by educating themselves through the right way, which is by education. Right? But thanks for that comment, P. I totally agree with you. Right? In the better world, Haitians aren't leaving; they are staying in their country. Thank you. Music Lover 2 says they're not going to go, but they'll happily take the $1.50 out of each dollar for Haitians to be sent and say is be used for education. Music Lover is criticizing the diaspora tax that the Haitian government applies, and I have no idea where that money is being used. Because I can tell you, I'm not really seeing the announcements of schools being built. It's never by the Haitian government. It's by other entities. Digicel, Japan has built a lot of schools. Well, to be fair, no, I guess that's not fair. The Ministry of Education did announce a while back that they were building somewhere between 14 and 20 schools, actually. So, how many actually get built? Certainly one day when Haiti Biz News becomes a little more well-rounded in its existence, we'll have actual journalists who will go out and actually take photos and see for themselves each one of these schools that are supposed to be built with the $1.50 tax, and come back and report it to you guys. And so that's going to happen, promise you. But for now, we just have to take them by their word. So there are some schools being built, but certainly there should be a lot more schools being built. Remember, the $1.50 was supposed to ensure that every single Haitian child had a free education. And despite the first 2-3 years where it was reported there was an uptick in kids going to school and the government providing funds to help certain schools pay for these kids who really couldn't afford it, we saw a complete drop in those numbers after 2-3 years. Right. So again, what's happening to that money and where are things going? We don't know. Right? Lansmo says there's a good school in Haiti. Why don't they stay in Haiti to learn? They go to DR and Nassau, don't respect us. Yeah, did I say there's good schools in Haiti? I don't remember saying that. I mean, there are good schools in Haiti, but there's not enough good schools in Haiti, right? That's number one. Number two, well, that's the really big thing. There's not enough schools and good schools in Haiti, right? There's only there's one, then there's a state University of Haiti, which is solid, holds its own. And then there's 2 or 3 other top universities, like Quisqueya University, Institute of Higher, IHEC, I believe is the acronym, IHEC. It's supposed to be really good. There's another one just off Taba, actually, that actually a few of my employees came from, who are pretty solid. But I'm drawing a blank on it, actually. But over in Taba on 15 October, anyone who really knows Haiti should refresh my memory for me. But there's not enough. Remember, there's 12 million people in this country. There's not enough. 12 million, so a lot of them are young. Somewhere around 60 to 70% of our 20 million population in the country are in their 20s, early 20s. That's the median age. Okay, and so it's not enough to support, and certainly without the government doing its job to help capacity building, a lot of these students are left with no choice but to go to the Dominican Republic. Okay. Conversations go happening back and forth there between Lens and Music Lover. I love it. Appreciate that. Lots of conversations had. I always like seeing conversations go back and forth. B's family vlog says, I didn't go to school in Haiti. When I came to the USA, I went straight to high school. Imagine how that was. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, that's rough. So it sounds like B's family, you were probably homeschooled, I guess. So let me know what you meant by that. Are the banks in Haiti owned by Black Haitians? I don't see why that matters. That's always an interesting question to ask. We need whatever entity in Haiti, whoever owns it, to be pushing access to capital and pushing opportunities for job growth. I don't care who owns it. You look in Dominican Republic, a lot of people go to Dominican Republic and say, man, this is on the same island. I can't believe it's on the same island and there's so much difference, right? But then not realizing that the vast majority, I'm not saying 80%, I'm not saying 90%, I'm not saying at least 51% plus of the economic actors that are acting in different spaces, may it be banks, may it be education, may it be healthcare, right? May it be construction, Well, actually, in construction, Dominican Republics have a very solid footing in construction by Dominicans. But grocery stores, retail stores, a lot of that, hotels especially, right? Tourism space, a lot of that's owned by non-Dominicans, right? Probably the biggest criticism, if you want to piss a Dominican off, okay, you ready for this? This is how you piss a Dominican off. You say, hey, at least Haiti owns its resources and its economy. Oh, you get Dominican mad, right? When you tell a Dominican, well, your economy is owned by foreigners, right? Whew, get ready. You better duck. Try a Dominican like that. When I say not Dominican in New York, I'm talking about Dominican and Dominican Republic. You say that to them, you better get ready to duck. They're gonna swing on you, right? Which is, by the way, something unique to every other people except Haitians. Any other people in the Caribbean, you talk bad about their country in any way, no matter how true it may be, but you talk bad about it in any way, they'll swing on you. Who are you to talk bad about my country? But Haitians are the only people on the planet, I swear. Maybe only African Americans talk as bad about their people, that really take pride in talking bad about how Haiti is and how Haitians are, right? I'm just saying, speaking my perspective, because the most vehement negative stuff I see about Haiti isn't from CNN or Miami Herald. It's from Haitians on my timeline, right? But anyways, let me not open that can of worms. What was I responding to? Haitian banks being owned. That's right. So again, my point is that it doesn't matter where it's coming from. I'll be honest. What matters is it's coming and it's benefiting Haiti, Haitians in Haiti, right? And that's how you get a Dominican Republic. When your economy is open for anyone to be able to invest in it without having to go extra lengths to protect themselves, protect their investments, protect their security, protect who they are, right? I mean, the Dominican Republic, you can fly in right now. Listen, you can fly in the Dominican Republic right now and within a single day, open up a corporation. I'm just started the process of starting my corporation here in Haiti, and I don't expect to be done until 6 months. Got a venture that's coming out, another venture is coming out. I'm going to need proper corporation. And I do not expect to get my paperwork done, published in my hand, operating legally from a corporation perspective for at least 6 months. I understand that, right? And so your questions about who the skin color of who the owners of a bank is, Haiti has bigger issues than that. Haiti needs investment, period. It's really not about who is who. Haiti needs investment, period. All right. Let's see what other questions we have here. We got some conversations back and forth. Love seeing it. We got JB Korat in the house saying, hey, my brother, how are you doing? Your channel has too much positivity going on, not to have thousands of people in your live. This is unbelievable. Thank you. Thank you, JB. What you can do is share the live. It starts with you. Share the live. Make sure you share it on your stream. Share it to anyone in your network who would appreciate what we're talking about here. Share it on your Facebook stream. Share it on your WhatsApp group. So anyone who likes what we're doing here and says, man, this guy doesn't have enough subscribers. What's up with that? Man, one who comes in here and says, man, this guy doesn't have enough people in his live right now. What's going on with that? Because you need to share this thing, right? Those the pretty women who have over 1,000 subscribers of them shaking and twerking their butts, right? Oops, let me plug my laptop in. It's got a little symbol saying, hey, laptop is about to die. Y'all bear with me here. Okay, we're back. We're cooking with gas. We're good. Who get this because, those guys are those women are getting their videos shared by the men who come in and like, my homeboy would love this and gets it shared. So let's follow the same practice and share this video and get more folks in here, especially during the first part of the show when we're breaking down what's happening from a economic news perspective, right? Let's skip through here. We got some folks back and forth. I love the back and forth conversations. Remember, guys, let's continue the conversations at the action group, the Seejeanty Community Action Group. let's continue the conversation there, even after the stream's over. Right? Claudia Love Francois says, I apologize for calling you a YouTuber. Just read the message about saying I don't consider myself a YouTuber. Understand where I'm coming from. Thank you so much for that. I really don't. Usually, because the thing with me is it's hard to put me. It's hard for me to describe who I am. You see what I'm saying? Like it's hard when people first, what do you, you're in a cocktail hour. Hey man, so what do you do? Man, I go like this. I go, well, I could say I own my own staffing company, but I could also say I also own my own outsourcing company that's doing some great things with companies in America between customer service and back office. I could also say have my own media company, right? I could also say some of the things I have coming in the horizon here in this coming year as relates to an investment group, as relates to just export-based distribution company. I could talk about that, or I could talk about the fact that I still function as a full-time consultant in America while living in Haiti, right? Or I could talk about also my YouTube, which is why also, by the way, I don't carry business cards. You know how many business cards I would have to carry if I carried business cards? Which one do I have on any particular day? It'll be very hard for me. The first thing people ask, so you have any business cards? You have a card? Like, yeah, man, I don't have a card because what I decide to talk to you about depends on what you're about. But no, I thank you, Claude. We're doing a lot here, and again, I can't do it alone. That's why we're on here. That's why I do what I do to encourage others to impact, because I'm doing all this. I'm just moved in 3 years into Haiti, and you hear so many folks, oh, insecurity. How do you? What are you talking about? Just go in and do your business. Network. Take it slow. You'll be all right. But be here physically. Don't do it from a distance, by the way. It's a big thing, right? Let's see. Some back and forth there. I love it between Music Lover and Jasmine. I love it. Ayado says the turkey that's in economic crisis right now. Yes, that turkey. That turkey. That's right. Let's see what else we got here. Lots of conversations back and forth. I love it. Love seeing it. Lots of conversation today, back and forth. Love it. Enjoy it a lot. Bounce Bougie 11 says if enough homes have solar panels, it should be enough for businesses. Listen, that's one reason I'm talking to you right now. I don't think we didn't have electricity last night, right? And so my batteries would have been probably decharged if it wasn't the fact that I have solar panels right now. It's a beautiful sunny day, right? And my solar panels are working. So I agree with you, Bounce Bougie. Right? And then asked, do you think that Dominicans building 2 dams on their short section of Antigonique will have effects on the rest of the Artesian Valley? Of course, because it slows the flow of the river and less access to water, especially during dry seasons. When it's wet, the irony is when it's raining a lot, it means it's also raining a lot on the DR side, and they will let more water out at the same time, usually when we're inundated in water. And so it certainly hurts because it lessens the water when we need it, and it increases the water when we don't need it. But hey, they have the right to do it. They're a sovereign country. They can do what they want. Now, usually most countries that have a dependency like ours do to another country upstream, they have much more stronger bilateral relations to help, and much more focused relations to help diminish the amount of impact that something like that would do. And they take these other countries to the UN. They make their case, and the UN would then say, hey man, you need to treat this other country a little better given your projects and how this affect. Haiti doesn't have any of that understanding of how diplomacy really works, for the betterment of its people, right? No, the short answer is the dams will have a negative effect. There's no way around that. The dams will have a negative effect on Haiti, right? But thanks for that question, LM. We got Daniel Bachman in here saying, hey, do they have a system where you prepay for elect, like you pay for your telephone card? Oh, electricity. No, they don't. They don't have that. But again, they should, right? They should. have a prepay system, because that's what Haitians are used to. Actually, Haitians are used to, like you mentioned, for your telephones, you prepay for a certain amount of minutes that you need, right? You got Papa Dops, little guys who buy minutes themselves to resell to you for a small little margin. And so certainly, why couldn't we have a Papa Dot for electricity where the same concept exists, right? And so that is the space that the Haitian government needs to go to once they've actually put in the infrastructure. And I'll be honest, they really should try to put in that infrastructure even beforehand, so Haitians get disciplined to how that works. And then while they're building out the infrastructure, they're building it out so it's aligned with this sort of pay-as-you-go electricity system. But again, the folks at the helm of this moving ship that's called the Haitian government, they're not incentivized for innovation. They're not incentivized for doing things for the Haitian people. They're not incentivized to not be corrupt. The entire Haitian government apparatus is a fat, unhealthy, disgusting blob that sits on the capacity of the Haitian people, sits on the capacity of entrepreneurs, sits on the capacity of the Haitian diaspora, and acts as a wall to any advancement of Haiti. All roads to Haiti's dilapidated condition is the government, and more importantly, the actors within the government, from the politicians to the heads of the bureaucracies, you name it, that is what's preventing this country from being great, right? And though it's very easy to blame the government, like it's a third party, like it's a third hand, but the reality is even the third hand grows out of what? Of a body, right? The proper analogy of a government, this government, is it's like the hair on your head, right? The government grows from somewhere, and it grows from a culture in Haiti where such behavior at the end of the day is expected, right? If you're a Haitian national coming out of, some dirt poor condition, and you get a government post, it is expected culturally that you're going to corrupt. In fact, if you don't corrupt, you're not going to probably keep your job, right? Because the person who got you in there expected you to be corrupt on their behalf. You see what I'm saying? And so as much as we could easily criticize the Haitian government and say, look, see, I would just go in there and remove everybody. See, that's the Haitian government. Like it's a third thing. The reality is the Haitian government is a hair on the bigger problem that faces Haiti, which is we have a culture that is itself corrupt that we have to work on fixing, right? And that's one of the reasons why we're here on Seejeanty. One of the big things we don't do is we don't talk about what's happening from a positive perspective. We hide our progress that we're doing in this country because of fear, which other people have put on us. CNN, Fox News, Miami Herald, they paint a single picture of total inept corruptness, right? Which feeds itself. If you tell a child, right, that they're bad, that they're terrible, that they're no good, for decades, they will grow up to a person who is corrupt, that is no good, that is a bad person. If they're told that's all they are. Are you guys following me? Which is why it's so important spaces like this exist, that we can talk about what's happening constructively and how can we get better. That's where the conversation needs to be. All right. And that's why it's so important that you guys share this channel. You guys hit that subscribe button, hit that notification, join the Seejeanty Action Group, right? Join it, right? Let me copy and paste it one more time for you guys. Join it, be part of the conversation, even when we're offline. Continue to share new stories, perspectives, keep the conversation constructive, because we need a space where the seed that is going to finally change the culture of Haiti can germinate. Because I don't see any space online. God bless the Union Suite. God bless them. But they're just reposting memes and funny stories, right? Which is great, but there isn't a place for the culture itself to grow itself, right, and improve itself. And hopefully, maybe the Seejeanty Action Community Group can be that space. So I invite, if you're watching this right now, I invite you to join it and let's ourselves start working on improving. Because as much as I'm not going to sit here and criticize Haiti without providing a potential solution, we're not about that. I'm not here to hide anything. A lot of folks who don't know me or don't know what we're going. Oh, this guy's naive. This guy doesn't know Haiti. I don't blanc. I don't regarde. Regarde imbécile là. Qui va qu'on Haïti là. Appelle bêtise. Haïti ça a changé. Ahmed. Right? They would say that. If you don't know that, I talk about how bad it is in Haiti all the time. But I keep it focused on what can we do to change it. Follow me? Anyways, thanks for that comment, Daniel. I think it was Daniel who made me go on that tangent. Appreciate it, right? Our bill's difficult to pay in Haiti. Tried to pay EDH once in St. Mark, but the office had no electricity. Yeah, you're right. No signal. Right? NatCom, man. You know, I used to pay my NatCom bill with my credit card, which was very handy. But now they only accept cash, for example. And so Clooney is absolutely right. You know, it's not easy to do the right thing in this country. Terry Celestine says, good afternoon. Have you heard the USAID Habit for Humanity World Council of Credit Unions creating affordable homes and expanding mortgages in the country? What are your thoughts? Thank you for that question. I have heard of a program like that, and it was happening in 2012 for sure, like after earthquake, sometime after earthquake, or 2014 maybe, somewhere between 2012 and 2014. They even came out with a mortgage program to allow folks to actually get access to capital and do mortgages. But for one reason or another, it just went away. It just fell off a cliff. I can't tell you how that program is. Where it doesn't. It's, to my understanding, it's not around anymore. If I'm proven wrong, please share this in the action group, and then we can talk about it. But that was a great idea that really needs to be pushed and encouraged by these entities. But I don't know where it is and what's happening to it. Right? We got Leah Dorsey Tompkins saying, "Hey, I sent my friend from Haiti your video, the largest BPO employing hundreds, and she said it was a very dangerous area. And what do you recommend?" Well, it is definitely the Cité Soleil is a very dangerous area. There's no hiding that, right? And I think I mentioned that too, or alluded to it. And that's one reason why that video is so important, because there is no excuses, right? Even for what is Cité Soleil is one of the most dangerous places in the country. In a safe country, it's the dangerous place in the country. Let's phrase it like that, right? Most of the things you hear about crime and X, Y, and Z happening in the country is happening not anywhere where you're going to be. It's happening there, right? And still, he's been able to create a complex that is employing hundreds of people, right? So that's all I have to tell you. He's doing a great job, right? And hats off to, again, Duquesne Fernand, who was in the chat earlier, right? Leah also follows up, says, what do you recommend for employment for young ladies who have recently graduated? Well, are you going to open up a job for them? That's what I recommend you to see what you can do to help encourage these women to work. But ideally, talk with them. A lot of these women, listen, everybody in Haiti has something they can do entrepreneurially, but they are lacking some capital to do it. Either some of them may want to sew, some of them may want to create crafts, but a lot of them don't have the means to purchase the initial things to allow them to create it. That's number one. Some of them are needing a rounding out of their skill set. So training, right? Which I always hesitate to say, because a lot of folks gravitate to, oh yeah, I flew down, did a 2-week training, flew out, yeah, I'm pat in the back. Training is almost as bad as charity, how people are doing it, right? But if you can associate that training with capital, with, okay, you do training, great. Now here's $10,000. We're going to help you, get your business going. We're going to audit you because, it's not an investment, but still we want to make sure you're spending this money the right way. We're going to help you, right? Because heck, even in America, not most folks don't get training on finances and credit worthiness and what it means to use QuickBooks and accounting principles. And that's in America. Haiti certainly doesn't have it. And so there is a need for a degree of training, but then that training needs to be followed up with hard code cash, hard code cash and the actual product for them to function, right? And so that's where you need to be. Speak with them, have a conversation with them, find out what they need to do, and then figure out how you can be the bridge to helping them get the capital that they need. Because Haiti's number one issue isn't training, isn't smart people, it's a lack of capital. All right. Aaliyah actually follows up and says, I'm actually because I teach English online and visit girls' missions in Denmark regularly. How do we get better mentor to help them support themselves as adults? They need capital, man. I think I've answered you, Leah. It's not any of the things you're thinking. It's not mentorship, right? Mentorship and training and support, it's important, but you can't think that's going to be enough. You need to figure out how to bridge capital to help these folks help themselves. There's no other way around it. And the sooner we recognize that, and the sooner you put your energies towards that, and I can't tell you how to do that. Gaining capital is a difficult task. It involves going to people with money, explaining to these people what the benefits are of separating themselves with that money to give to someone else that doesn't have money, so that person can then one day have money. You see, it's not an easy task. And I can't tell you how to do it. You're going to have to figure out how to do it. But that's what needs to be done. Right? Thanks for the question. Appreciate it. Jamie says, first question, tell us why the USD is such a commodity in the country. Because everything's imported. That's probably the simplest way I can answer that one. Everything's imported. And so when you import everything, the currency of the item being imported is going to have priority over your currency. And so the day when Haiti starts to export its products, you'll see a reversal in that, right? So that's really the short answer, right? Oh, my beard too. I had something in my beard. I said, yeah, I hope it's gone. Hope it's gone. Oh, well. John W. Denzeri says, how's the coffee industry in Haiti? I'm looking to start sourcing from the country and have American tech come back and may be able to partner to keep more money in the farmers' pockets. The coffee industry in Haiti has really struggled because Haiti, for a long time, the coffee was really done by families, and so many families, the kids didn't want to come back and continue the line of business, and so we have generations of lost capacity that was never renewed. The capacity for great coffee still exists tremendously in the country. And there's some places that really are doing a great job, like the area, Kenskoff area is doing great. There's places in Gundus that's doing really, really interesting stuff as well. But it's certainly not as ubiquitous as you would hope coffee farming would be. But what I would do if I were you is I'd go on a fact-finding mission, right? Come to Haiti, go to areas. Probably the easiest place to go is to Kenskoff. Try to find local farmers. Try to understand what their pain points are, and find out how much per pound it is. Give them a stipend up front. Have them commit to making a degree of quantity of coffee for you, and then make sure you have the rest of the money to purchase the rest of it. Right? But that's what I would advise you to do, is go about it that way. But there certainly is an opportunity for coffee in the country. You just have to sort of make the effort to network and find those opportunities for you to be able to purchase and then ultimately take out the country. Right? But the opportunities are there. Thanks for that question, John. Appreciate it. I do wish you luck on that. I know as your question as relates to getting acquainted to the industry there. I know. I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know, sometimes the best way to support the coffee industry is to work with companies that are already doing great work with local coffee farmers. And I know, for example, Singing Rooster is a brand that's doing some great work. Heck, even Selecto Coffee has actually been doing pretty interesting work, and they're actually always looking for distributors for people to be able to buy in bulk and sell, you know, in America. And they work with local farmers, you know, to create coffee, some really quality coffee. In fact, the only coffee I consume here is a Towo coffee, right? Towo, their Towo brand. And so, you know, you can start there. You just reach out to them, say you saw something on Seejeanty and you would like to see how to become a distributor, right? And start there, right? All right, Godspeed, John. I do wish you luck, and I hope you can find success however you want to decide to attack that, all right? Len says, I'll go to Haiti in the summer. I'm going to try to work on that also. I'll start in my neighborhood first, put trees. That's right. Put trees in the ground. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, Len says, wish you luck again, and keep me in the loop as you know, after your trip and you actually start doing work before and after of one area full of garbage and nothing, and then after a week or two, after you've cleaned up with the community and you planted some trees, I would love to show that to me. I would love to be able to share that across my network, Lens. So best of luck to you there. RR says, is there interest within Haiti in developing more apartment complexes? Of course there's interest. That's a short answer. Thanks for keeping it easy for me. Joel Augusta says, even low-income housing should be in the community. They need more security than higher income. They can't afford it. Good point. William Pierre says, okay, responding to someone. I was responding to someone. Happy Sunday, Power V Stream. I appreciate you. Right back at you. Thank you. First time I'm seeing you in the chat. Hope you're subscribed. Right. I wasn't wasn't criticizing the project. I just said I loved it. Just hope it's integrated into the community, not foreigners who come and hide for the rest of the people. Fair enough. That's maybe one of you viewers will watch it and decide to rent it out, and you'll integrate yourselves. Make sure you're impacting and doing some things, right? So I see what you're saying, Jamsey. Most St. Lucia has prepaid electricity with Sigara. Yeah, that's true. Thank you for that, Joel. Sigara does have a prepaid system. In fact, a lot of different companies have a prepaid system. Like there's a few different companies that provide solar panel electricity. Like they go into foreign, you know, an area that's pretty far out that doesn't have electricity grid, and they provide electricity to the area in a prepaid system, in a prepaid way. And actually, they do very well for themselves. They're actually very profitable. And so I'm very profitable enough to be self-sustaining, certainly, and keep growing based off the revenue that they're getting. And so that's proof that you can certainly get a model where, you know, Haitians will pay for what they need and not more. And if you can make it price competitive, which they really try to do, that's proof. Segura and a lot of these smaller companies that, you know, you're using more solar energy to do this typically, they're winning. So Joel, thanks for that reminder. Segura absolutely is doing a prepaid system. Thank you for that. Chris Corson from Tallahassee. For those who don't know, I'm a Florida State native. I know Tallahassee well, right? You know, Tennessee Street, right? Frenchtown, right? That's my old stomping ground. Tallahassee is very special to me. So Chris Corson, happy to have you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right. Dorothy Jean, how would we go about cleaning up? I often spend summers and breaks there. How do you spend cleaning up? Just pick up the trash. Dorothy, what kind of question is that? How do I clean by picking up the trash? I don't know what kind of question is that, Dorothy? Come on. You work with the folks in the area. You have one-on-one conversations. and say, hey, speak that Creole as well as you can, right? And say, hey, this is our area. Our immediate block area needs to be clean. We're not trying to clean the whole neighborhood, the whole street, the whole commune, but this area where we open your door and you take a step out needs to be clean, and let's clean it up, right? And you talk with everyone, and if no one's about that business, you start doing it yourself, and you will get one or two or three other people who realize you're not full of crap, and they'll follow you and do it with you, right? And that's how you go about it, right? Ideally, just start cleaning up, and make it an issue of self-responsibility. Now, as time goes on, certainly if you can structure it to where everyone gives a little bit of good each month, there's companies that exist like Sanco that has ways where a community can give a little bit of money to Sanco, and then Sanco will come and clean that community up, right? They have these community pot systems where the community gives a little bit of money that equals the amount that's going to be needed to clean up the community, or at least put their trash for the community. And I know Sanco, for example, does that, right? So certainly perhaps reach out to Sanco on that. But no, it's not that complicated, Dorothy. Where do you dispose of trash? I didn't see that last part. So Haiti there's a lot of public poubelles that exist across the country. A lot of times, actually, when you're driving around the country, you see a big mound of trash. Actually, what it is just that is a public poubelle, meaning it's a public identified area where the commune has said that, hey, this is a place you pick up trash, and once every 2-3 days, a big truck will come and actually shovel that into the trash truck, right? And so it's really just about finding where your nearest one that nearest one. I mean, ideally, you should have like these big containers to really keep the trash from just looking so messy and disgusting, right? But baby steps with this government, baby steps, right? And just having specific areas, at least where like trash can be conjugated, that's a step in the right direction. God forbid in 2021, we do something different in this country. But that's how you go about it, Dorothy. Okay. Gene Phillips says, hey, let's talk about insecurity, recent kidnappings in Haiti. I don't know what do you want to know about it, because I can tell you there's been a lot of Haitians who've come in. They've been fine. There isn't, I don't know how to engage that, because again, that's one of the things that you have media companies in Haiti, in the diaspora, Miami Herald, really playing up this kidnapping, which again, it is a problem in the sense that one kidnapping is too many, right? And the worst part is they're not even kidnapping people with money, right? A lot of these, gangsters out of City Soleil and these places, they're kidnapping really poor people. They just so happen to run across, and they're hoping that this poor person has a cousin that is a diaspora, and you can get that person to get that diaspora cousin to send money over, right? So you tell me, please cite the article, please, of a Haitian tourist coming in and being kidnapped. And that's really the big thing. You hear a lot of people, well, I'm not going to come in because they're going to kidnap me. But like for real, man, please use logic in your emotional dribble, right? Because Jamaica has exponentially more killings and murders. DR has exponentially more murders and killings. I mean, for God's sakes, in Dominican Republic last year, before this COVID, there was a window where Americans were being killed by poison by workers in Dominican hotels. For God's sakes, tourists, Americans were being killed in Dominican Republic. But I don't hear a single person saying, well, I'm canceling my trip to Dominican Republic. There's insecurity in Dominican Republic. There really was insecurity in Dominican Republic, but no one was canceling their trip. But yet in Haiti, you have, unfortunately, a small population of Haitians, which is unacceptable are being affected by insecurity, but you hear people like Jean-Philippe Charles saying, hey, there's a raft of insecurity, talk about it. And that's why it's really fatiguing, because you have a Haitian population across the globe that themselves do not try to explain the nuance to other people. They take what's been given to them and they run with it, and they say Haiti's insecure, even though every statistic says Haiti is the safest place in the Caribbean, right? We do need to focus on the poorest Haitians who are being affected right now by insecurity. But the reality is, you as a Haitian coming in from abroad, the statistics say out of any other place you could be in the Caribbean, you are the safest. Does that mean 100% of all Haitians the Haitian tourists coming in, or any tourists coming in, will be safe? Of course not. That's insane. That doesn't happen, right? But compared to any other place, Haiti is the safest. And that's my response to you, my friend. And that's how I talk about it. I talk about it from a statistics perspective. These are the stats, right? Thanks for that question. Okay, and I see a lot of folks are engaging with Jean-Charles Philippe on that. Thank you, guys. And I promise, you can't say anything about Dominican Republic without 20 Dominicans coming at you. So, hey man, ¿cómo estás, man? You don't know shit about Dominican Republic. Shut your mouth. Seriously, right? But Haitians are the only people who one person will say something bad, and in most places you have 20 people say, yeah, hey, he's a piece of shit. Haitians are the only people who do this, right? But again, that's why I love reading my chat, because usually when one person tries to do that, we do have the right mentality here, the right ecosystem here, where folks are like, wait a minute, here's what's going on, right? So I appreciate you guys who are engaging appropriately with that. So thank you. Some things, an interesting comment there Len said about Digicel and Natcom. And that has to do with the SIM cards and the argument that the SIM cards not being registered are encouraging kidnappings. I don't know how true that is, but it just seems extremely incorrect that you have SIM cards being sold unregistered. It doesn't happen in America. A SIM card has a registration to a person. If that person switches SIM cards, let's say falls in the water, they'll get a new SIM card registered to them, and that old SIM card will be deregistered and deactivated in the National Registry, right? It just doesn't, and of course, Martin Boot went on Seejeanty, for example, to talk about, we don't understand what the fuss is and why we're getting the blame for the insecurity. Okay, he has a point, right? But at the same time, you guys need to do the right thing. And the right thing is, even without a national regulatory body telling you you should be registering your SIM cards or putting a process in place that allows anyone to be on your network without being registered, right? Or get around any current safeguards, you need to be prosecuting that or processing that. It's the right thing to do. You should know who's on your network, right? But again, that's why you need a government. I don't blame Digicel and Natcom necessarily on that. When you look at America, a lot of things that businesses do, they don't do it because they're warm-hearted, fuzzy beings. They do it because they're being forced to. They're doing it because they have to do it. The government's telling them, hey, man, figure it out, do it, pay the cost because we're telling you to do it. And that's where you need a Haitian government to say, yeah, we need you to know who's on your network and not allow anyone to use SIM cards that are unregistered, right? And so who do you blame, right? You can blame, it goes both ways. Blame Digicel and Natcom, and also blame, as always, the true source of everything that's wrong with this country, the Haitian government, right? Appreciate that comment, Lens, right? Aido counters me and says Haitian owning the bank system is important. Saying it doesn't matter is why we're at the bottom. Let's just say we agree to disagree. I read your comment. I can understand why you would say it, but understand my perspective is Haiti lacks tremendously in so many avenues, right? It doesn't matter who's doing the investing. Investment needs to happen. That's one. Number two, if you feel there needs to be more Haitian banks, which by the way there is, but I don't want to go into logic of who's the owner. If you feel that there needs to be more Haitian banks, as always, criticizing costs nothing. Doing costs and shows the true worth of your argument. If you feel strongly enough about it, do something about it. But nonetheless, I understand your perspective. And I think when Haiti becomes a middle income country, right, I would then start to shift my conversations towards how do we empower more of our key industrial sectors, our key economic sectors, to be more in line and in tune with Haitian values and Haitians themselves, right, and in benefiting the country, right, and how do we do it? And one of the things usually is get people from the country to be in those positions, right? But we're not there yet. And again, if you understand why Dominican Republic and any country in the Caribbean is a wealthy country, or much more wealth than us, because their economies are open and anyone can start businesses there, no matter what the business. Please understand when I tell you this, Aido. Please understand. It doesn't matter who owns it. In the context of what I'm saying is it's so impossible to start business in this country. The starting point needs to be anyone can open business here. Anyone should be able to open business here, and anyone should be investing here. That's where we are right now in the conversation. We aren't at this other place of, oh well, we need to just Haitians only. We're not. Even Haitians are so busy believing the BS about themselves and about their country. Are you really going to tell them that they're going to convince them to come here? I mean, the few that usually come here, all they're doing is opening hotels and bar restos. That's the only thing Haitians ever do. They open restaurants and they build their retirement homes to die in hotels. And these are guys you now have to convince to open banks, right? I say allow the capital to come from anywhere because it's going to help Haitians in the country. That's my argument. That's my argument. But I recognize your argument. Recognize mine. All right. Thank you, brother. Shirley Sage says, really do want to see a better Haiti. I need to know how to do my part. Yeah, join the action group. Join the Community Action Group. Follow the conversations that are happening there. Subscribe to this channel. Follow the playlist Untitled. There's some really interesting things happening in that playlist. There's a book coming out. Do buy the book when it's out. It will be out before the end of December, right? It's gonna be a very cheap price point, by the way, $9.99. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? It's gonna be pretty affordable, folks to buy. Yeah, show up for the show. Engage in the conversation, right? Liz says, do not compare the DR to Haiti. DR is owned by the deep state, and they sold their soul in essence. They have no say-so. Fair enough. How can I ever argue with anyone that believes in a deep state? So you win that argument by default, because I can't argue with someone against facts that I can't counter. You can only since I'm not going to even entertain. Let me stop there. It's hurting my brain. All right. What else? What's like encountering the Haitian police, especially with them searching vehicles now? I can tell you, it's not like America, where I'm, if I move wrong, I get shot in the head, So that's one of the things that's refreshing about Haiti is that, I'm not fearful of police. That's the best way I can answer that to you, right? Sherry said, are Haitians safe in the DR? I get so much conflicting information. Every Haitian I've spoken to who's in the Dominican Republic legally have not told me about how bad it is. Right now, from a macro perspective, they've done some things that disenfranchise a lot of Haitians, right? In terms of returning back the citizenship for countless of their citizens. Actually, they're citizens. I don't even call them Haitians. They're Dominicans of Haitian descent. And they've just turned around and said, yeah, you guys aren't Dominicans no more, and left them stateless, more or less, by kicking them out the country, which is a travesty. That's at the macro level, which is a problem. But when I speak to individual Haitians who are there legally, still consider whatever legally means for Dominican Republic's Dominican Haitians now, they never tell me anything bad, honestly. But this is anecdotally. I haven't done a survey across all Haitians in Dominican Republic, so I'm not speaking to that. All I can say is the handful, maybe the 10 or so Haitians living in Dominican Republic have told me they've never said anything bad. I've visited DR and I haven't never experienced anything. And I've always let folks know I'm Haitian. I'm usually rocking a Haitian flag on my head or on my shirt or something. They know I'm Haitian from a mile away, and I still get treated fine. Right? I know friends who visited, who, for example, on the public bus, and Haitians will cops will stop buses and do random passport checks, and they only pull the black-looking people off the bus, randomly, right? But that's really as far as I have heard about individual level anecdotal treatment of Haitians from people I know or people I've spoken to. I've seen things, obviously, and read things, obviously, but I'm just saying individually, specifically myself, right? Thanks for that question, right? Talk to us about business class monopolies in Haiti that prevent the diaspora from investing in Haiti. Is it true? No, it's not true. If you're trying to open up an import-based company, I'll say it very bluntly, I hope you fail, right? I do hope you fail, and I hope you lose every penny of your investment, right? Because when you hear that, what Jasmine just said, which is, hey, talk about business class monopolies to prevent the diaspora from investing in the country. It's because you have a Haitian diaspora who says, hey, I want to import rice too. I want to import furniture too. Oh, hey, I want to import oils too. Oh, I want to be an importer too. I hope you lose every single dollar you think you're going to invest in this country, because you're not doing the country any good. If you're coming into this country and you're trying to import and try to compete with other entities that are importing already, you're not doing the country any good. This country only succeeds when we have visionary entrepreneurs who come in with new ideas, new ways to attack the problems in this country, and ultimately look at how we can bring the products of this country outwards. Export. You're gonna have no competition exporting. None. You're gonna have no issues. No other big families are gonna stop you from exporting, because the pie is too big. The pie is too big when it comes to exporting. You can make too much money. You're selling to an international market worth trillions of dollars, versus when you try to import, you're trying to sell to a very sliver of customers, and you being successful means the other family, the other person is going to be successful. So guess what? The family who actually lives here, who owns property here, who takes their kids to school here, right? Who actually has a network here, of course, is going to have a priority in doing business here. I don't understand why the diaspora think just because they're American, they have a right to this country, right? Or their parents were Haitian. I should be able to do everything I want to do in it. No. If you're trying to import in this country, no, you are most likely going to fail. You're going to fail tremendously. Right? You may get a few initial shipments in and you think you're going to be doing all right, but eventually the infrastructure of this country is going to realize you're doing well, and things are going to happen to shut you down. Let's be very clear. And that's why I always reiterate, do not come to this country and do not open an import base company. Not only because of what this Jamsey and the incorrect assumption he makes, like so many Haitians, right? It's because you are opening the wrong type of business that's not needed in this country. We don't need any more importation, man. We need exporting-based companies that really understand what this country has. And since you're an American or you're a Canadian or whatever, you understand that market actually better than Haiti. So what are you doing? Why are you coming here to import a product where you don't even know this? You don't even know this market. Stick with the market you know. Find what can be sold, can be purchased here, and sell it in America. That's my tip for you. All right. Ever Alexis, in Haiti, what it sounds like is that these private sectors are contributing to insecurity. I don't know what you mean. Do provide an article. I'm not following. Lynn says follows up. Conversations are happening in between. Let's see. Wendy Renner Jean says, can you please highlight a place to visit? Follow. Make sure you're subscribed. You'll see where I'm at. You'll see where I'm going, and you can visit the same sites. All right, Wender. Appreciate you. So many know that I want to know that we can help Haiti grow. Inform us. We will share and trust and believe your numbers will grow. We're very connected. Appreciate you, Sherry. Is it Sherry? Shirley. Shirley said so. I like that. So I appreciate that. Powers and wealth have no colors. That's true that. Jabsy says, I want to invest and grow in Haiti, but all the relatives. You know, I guess you should probably listen to him if you're that naive. You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, because the thing is that my folks told me the same thing, but I'm here. I'm running several businesses. I have not been, and the businesses I run, by the way, they're of the same advice I give other people. They're outward based. I've had no issues with any of the stuff that your parents are trying to brainwash you, and your parents are the very reason why Haiti's in this shape it is. Number one, your parents left Haiti, did not choose to fight to keep. And I understand too. Don't get me wrong; it was very insecure at those times. The Duvalier just fell. There was a strong sense of insecurity, and worse, the means of capital were deprived from a lot of people. So I get it, right? But this family, mine's included, never decided to say, hey man, it's my country. I give two damns about what it is and what are the best strategies, right? What are the best ways we can move forward? Because obviously, if we do things the way we've been doing, stories like what we know have happened would happen. So how do we engage in a different way to insulate ourselves from some of those more negative things from happening? That's where the conversation has never been amongst Haitians. It's always been, oh, I gave $100 to my cousin. My cousin never gave me receipts and he never showed me what happened to the product. I lost $100. And now I'm going to spend the next 20 years telling my kids not to do business in Haiti because I got screwed over by my cousin. That's Haiti, and that's Haitians. Let's keep reading some comments. Haiti is moving towards solar for sure. Let's see. Haiti News is in the house. What's up, Haiti News? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you. They said, Anarez is another one. Yeah, there's a few different ones. There's a few different ones that I'm aware of. Anarez, I believe, I haven't, maybe I have, but I forgot. But Anarez could be another one that has a pay-as-you-go, so I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Bianca says, what can American diaspora do so that we can tackle those layers? I don't remember what I said. So Bianca, you're going to have to remind me. That was a while ago. I said it. So sorry about that. Let's keep on scrolling. Let's keep on scrolling, see what folks are saying. Lots of back and forth. I love it. I love it. President's fighting corruption, though. A video page says the president's fighting corruption. Listen, when I see one person go to jail for Petrocaribe, I'll believe it. Until then, I don't know how he's fighting corruption. All right? Thanks. Is the Haitian government paid by foreign nations to keep the country in power for the sake of history? It feels like it, though, right? It certainly feels like it, Katie. Certainly feels like it. Let's see what we got here. I see a white man going to Haiti and manipulating Haitian families, exploiting their kids. It truly kills my spirit. As someone with Haitian descent, I want to see what I can do. It's not just Haitian white men. I can tell you there's folks of all different shades and creeds who either directly or indirectly aren't doing Haiti good, particularly when, say if they're, let's leave that other stuff on the table for a second, because that's a topic, very dicey and very sensitive, obviously. But even in the case where you have folks who are trying to do charity and are doing good, right? It's structured the wrong way. It's structured the wrong way, right? It's there to feel dependency and not put folks in a place where they can function independently, is what I mean, right? So I appreciate that, right? Charlie Sue says, what can we do to change? I'm not sure what the initial reference is there, unfortunately. Closter Jules asks, what's your major, Genty? My major is undergraduate in economics, master's in applied economics. I appreciate the question. Okay. I do business in Haiti. I'm more aware of the corruption in dealing with lay people, not the government. Agreed. The corruption is on every level, and it starts with our culture. Our culture needs to really hold people accountable, right? And really the expectation shouldn't be when you get into a government post, you're gonna suffer off money, right? Haiti is the richest country in the Western Hemisphere, but until its debt contract is settled by your government, Haiti remains as the world deems necessary. I don't know what the debt contract. I'm not following you there. I think the one ways that people can help reach the government is to reach the government, especially when it comes to dealing with the U.S., UN, OAS, other countries who has been in their hands. Yeah, I think what Bianca's trying to allude to is certainly, if you're an American, Haitian American particularly, certainly be involved in your political process in your country and to make sure that you express and you organize, and most importantly, to be able to really get to the ears of policymakers to say, hey, we need a different strategy for Haiti. We need Haiti to be done in a way where you're empowering people and not just sending free rice and free crap and keeping folks dependent. So I think Bianca is on point with that. Right. So I appreciate that. Right. Lots of conversation back and forth. I love it. Says Seejeanty, I would extremely related to hire individuals from Haiti. I'm president of the U.S. I'm a fashion designer. I teach. I would like to start a manufacturing company. That's great. It's great. Be on the lookout for my book. I'd say that's probably the first place for you to start. And see what ideas. I do have a fashion section in that book with different ideas. See which one speaks more to you. And there's other components as it relates to registering your business and doing a lot of different things. So do look out for that book. And that's probably the first place for you to start. Second place would be, again, it's coming out for the end of December. The second place for you to really consider is just come to the country very slowly, network, take it slow over years if necessary, to network and get to know the people of the country, the opportunities that exist here, and you'll see the opportunities naturally and the way forward to naturally occur, right? That's really the best two pieces of advice I can give you. The second one, again, really to keep it short, take your time. Come to the country, engage with the country, get to know the people, and network. And that's the only way forward. Don't think Haiti has a way for you to open up a business from a distance. Haiti does require you to be hands-on in country to have any real success. Okay. Right now, there's a paradigm shift. Working with the old, the sleepy ones will not conceive the new paradigm since they're not awake yet. I like that assessment. And the diaspora can pitch in and develop capital in Haiti. I can imagine would take 10 years. Certainly, organize amongst yourselves and providing communities where folks can chip in and do projects. We have a project. Seejeanty has something coming up. Myself have something coming up very soon here, which I'll talk about. That kind of gets at the very heart of that question. Again, we're building the infrastructure not only for Seejeanty but for the things I've talked about, and for you, the audience, to be able to impact, plug in, and move forward with it. And so that's all I can say for right now. But do look out for it in the coming months. We'll be able to engage a little more. All right. Any interest with Haiti in developing more commercial space for rent? People stop selling on the sidewalk. So that's the government. Great question. But the fact is, you could build a commercial space to allow a lot of these street mamaceras to go into. But here's the reality: is there's many of them that exist already, and right around them you see a lot of mamaceras on the street. Now you go and ask a mamacera, hey, why are you on the street selling your fruits and stuff and not inside? And even if the inside is like half full, like, well, I have to pay a certain amount of money in there. The streets are free, right? And so when the streets are free, the response is the government needs to be, okay, hey, there's space in here, go in here. Or the government needs to provide space inside, for a subsidized rate. Again, just pay enough, charge them enough just so you can keep it clean and keep a certain degree of cleanliness and infrastructure, electricity going in there, and to divide it across all these people shouldn't be too much money. But then on the flip side, you can't continue to allow it to be free for manamseras to just go in the street and not choose to go inside these buildings. And you have to prosecute those who are choosing to not follow the rules, especially if you provide space for them doing indoors, right? So thanks for that, R&R. Thanks for that question. Right? Let's see what others we have here. Some great conversations happening. Got Sangela says, what do you think of the digital nomad movement? Don't you think that Haiti can be a great destination now that you have 24/7? Well, I mean, do we have 24/7 electricity? But if we were ever to have it, I think that would be a very important step to allowing digital nomad movement to happen. But you can have it. I mean, heck, I'm technically a digital nomad. I'm functioning for a company in America while I'm in the States. Or sorry, I said function for a company in America while I'm in Haiti, right? And in fact, one of the person who told me about it, in fact, if you go to my podcast, the second episode of my first interview, was Junior JB, and he's in Cap Haitien, working for American companies, just working. That's all he's doing, just working. He doesn't have none of that entrepreneur stuff that I do in addition, and he's just working, living with his wife, living a very high quality life as a Haitian who, is living in his country while making good money, right? And so you don't have to wait for that. I mean, there's people living it right now. So a great comment on that. You just got to find a comfortable living situation with a place that has, and there's plenty of places. For example, what I showed you this episode on Seejeanty, the real estate, that's going to be one example of a place you can rent out. I mean, you just go to Airbnb and you'll see a lot of different spaces. And you can say, hey, how much for a month? How much for 6 months? Right? And they'll gladly, sign up a relationship where you stay in a very comfortable living situation in Haiti where, you have electricity and you just sign up for your own internet. And just like that, you're working as a digital nomad in your country, right? So there you go. Mike Collins says, I hear this a lot. Yeah, young people in Haiti are not into farming. That's not true. It's that there's plenty of people into farming. Just go into the countryside, you see plenty of farmers. It's just that, Haitian Americans, young Americans are not themselves thinking about agriculture in any serious way and aren't putting money behind it or organizing for it, right? So let's see what else other folks are saying here. Country is a gold mine for ecotourism. I certainly agree with you, right? Let's see. Mr. Cruz says DR provides food, school to 1.5 million Haitians. This is how Haiti shows gratitude. LOL, perfectly fine, Mr. Cruz. I was wondering when I was going to get a Dominican in the house. I'll tell you, boy, you can't say nothing about Dominican. Not a Dominican coming in, defending the DR's honor. Listen, man, number of respect for Dominican Republic here, buddy. All right? Listen, you guys are doing, the Dominican Republic is doing a great job over there. on the other side of the island. Okay, you know, I hope one day Haiti gets half of the development that the Dominican Republic has, right? And believe me, one of the reasons why this channel exists is for Haitians to start taking care of Haitians. You know, one of the reasons why this channel exists is Haiti needs to take a was America first, a Haiti first perspective, and improve it to a situation where Haitians don't have to leave. Because believe me, you know, the 1.5 million Haitians numbers you just cited, I promise you, you know, the day Haiti can get even half of the development that DR has had, those 1.5 million people would be back in Haiti in a heartbeat, much preferring to work and live in the country that their ancestors fought for, right? Which technically is Dominican Republic, since we liberated you guys. But let me not go there. Let me not go there. So that's where I'm going to end it for today. We are at the top of the hour, right? We're really happy that we had folks stick around for the whole. We're at 3 hours. Goodness gracious, whole 3 hours. We talked about a lot of different stuff. I want to remind folks that we're not going to have Haiti Biz News next week. We're not going to have Haiti Biz News next week, right? We're going to be out filming in Jacmel, filming out some really cool stuff, right? If you guys have not seen the most recent episode of a multi-million-dollar, right, real estate project happening, do go ahead and check that out. I just dropped the link in the channel. I want to remind folks, the conversation doesn't need to end, by the way. The conversation that we're having here does not need to end. I'm going to drop also the action group Facebook group. I want everyone watching this between the next video, which is going to be a while actually, because we're going to be filming on next week. So there won't be even a new Seejeanty on location next week. So, you know, we have at least a solid week and a half with no new Seejeanty content. So I really do want this conversation to continue. The conversation we're having today may be about anything and everything, right? I welcome everybody to come in. Let's talk about it. Be respectful to each other, right? Provide facts, provide links to articles of what you're saying, no matter what you're saying, even if it's about insecurity and things of that sort. Provide links, provide hard facts from reputable sources. But more important, let's keep it to what the name of the group. Let's keep it towards action. Let's keep it towards what can we do? You know, how can we engage each other to a better Haiti, to making Haiti a better place for Haitians to be, to grow, for jobs. You know, how do we get those things going? How do we, within ourselves, for those who are criticizing and saying, hey, why are non-Haitians owning banks? Listen, focus the conversation on you, man. What are you doing, right? Those Syrians own all the grocery stores. Well, what are you doing, man? Well, they have a winning playbook, right? So let's follow what their playbook is, right? I.e., they work together, right? And they get the job done. So let's do that. The playbook is not exclusive to them. We know what the playbook is. They pull the resources together, they help each other out, right? And they get the job done. And this is hopefully, this action group is step one to mimicking what has worked in Haiti. Let's have a space where we can have intelligent conversation, network with each other, right? And then change that relationship into action, keeping that action at the forefront of that engagement, right? So I really do encourage folks to join that action group, right? And if you enjoyed what we talked about this week today, if you enjoyed what this channel is about, the conversations we have here, make sure you hit subscribe, share your favorite video, whichever it may be, share it with someone, and then challenge them to share it with someone else, right? When you share a video for Seejeanty, say, hey man, you're gonna love this, but please share it with someone else, and then tell that person to challenge that other person to share the video. Let's get the word out that Haiti is a lot more than what CNN, what Fox News, what Miami Herald, what your own parents have told you, right? I've been here 3-4 years now. I've progressed. I've seen the country. The country hasn't gotten better. I'll be honest with you, but I've seen personally myself grow, adapt, learn from the challenges, and position myself to handle anything Haiti throws at me. And I'm certainly well positioned the day that this government can get its act together, the day that Haitian people learn to start supporting each other and supporting economic progress amongst themselves, I'm telling you what, I'm in a great position to win. And I want others to be in positions to win, because Haiti can't stay this way. Haiti has to change at some point. It has to. It's like a clock that's wrong. A clock that's doesn't move is right at least twice a day, right? And so eventually there's going to be a click that happens. All the things are going to align, and Haiti's going to be functioning for hopefully a long time. And during that period, we're going to be well positioned. And if we take advantage of it, build our wealth, and then encourage the Haitian government, whoever may be at the time, to actually do the right thing, right? Stay on the throats of these politicians and make sure they're doing their jobs and keeping their hands clean and doing more things for the people than keeping their eye in their pockets. Haiti will have no choice but to improve and do what it needs to do, right? But that's on us. That's on us to first engage, build a community, and build the right strategies. And that's what the action group's about. So join it. You guys lead the conversation. Lead that conversation, right? And as always, guys, listen, we'll be back at it again when what? We're back at it again. Peace.